Ready?
And it's working.
And it's working. We've got captions. And we got chat.
We're living, but okay.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I'm going
to have another vodka.
Actually had this set up 25 minutes early tonight. Just whatever. I'm drinking now.
Yikes.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened there, guys. None of the mics would work. None of them.
See,
none of them.
If we're going to have a conversation about relationships, let's put the stress on it right at the beginning.
Here's an example of stress right here. Oh my gosh. Andrew, Michelle, hello, Michelle, Diana, Cindy, Diane from South Philly. Hey, Diane, I know you. Woo, woo. Julie, hey, Julie. All right. Good. I'm so glad this is working now. Oh my goodness. Oh, and it's hot in here, and it just made it even hotter.
No, stress. Just the blood pressure went up, and just
I know.
Another cider.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
Okay, there we go.
I'm chilling. Okay. I am so sorry that we were like playing. I mean, I literally ended up creating 3 events. So you're here. I know other people are going to be lost and looking at the event number 2, and hopefully everyone will find us pretty soon. All right. Well, okay. So yes, we had this wonderful suggestion about talking about how our relationship has changed since we moved to Mexico. And, you know, that's a really, really, really good topic because it does change. The dynamics change a lot. There's living somewhat separate lives to being together almost all the time. There's trying to navigate and depending on each other a lot more for things that you never typically need help with in your home country. And just stress in general can really do a number on any relationship, right?
Well, that doesn't matter whether you move or you stay there. I mean, that, stress is
yes,
not
Andrew.
Good
yes.
all the way around.
I asked him the same thing, Andrew, about, hey, he's smoking inside. I'm like, what's up with that? Typically, that's a no-no. And he told me our hostess actually wanted to know if it was okay if she smoked in here and that she was okay with it.
Yeah. She said the reason they listed it as no smoking because they had somebody that one time did some damage to the furniture, and she's like, I'm not worried about you guys. So
yeah, she is really chill.
So I was like, okay.
But
I normally don't do that.
I was surprised. I was, because, especially if you are a non-smoker and you sense that. I mean, you can hear, you go into let's say you go to a motel and it's smoking, and as soon as you walk in the room, you can smell it. It doesn't matter what they do to clean it. And I live with a smoker and I can smell it. So, let's see.
I can't smell anything.
I like to highlight this, Diane. This is a really good one. So, being in Mexico has always changed my relationship with my husband, even for 3-week vacations, mostly because he's a workaholic. But it does change, even on a short term. So imagine long term. It changes a lot. And so, I came up with this nice bullet list. I think it's really good. It doesn't matter if you're a hetero couple, non-hetero couple, if you're a solo travel.
Is a couple.
Yeah. Married, not married, whatever.
A solo, not a couple.
A solo's not a couple.
That's a little bit of a different.
But there's relationship dynamics for solo travelers too. Maybe you're a single parent and you're traveling with a child. That's got other dynamics. And maybe you brought a parent with you.
Everything that enters into any relationship, when there are people, and if they're, external outside of the couple, if they're involved, well, that means they're involved and the couple has to deal with that. So that sort of just becomes a whole, that's one more dynamic that goes into the whole, how do we deal with all of this? And so the only way you can deal with it is probably the main topic or the main theme through this entire thing is going to be honesty. I mean, that's,
honesty. It's such a lonely word.
the little things that might tick you off or get under your skin, you can't let them just.
Well, I think this initially, I'm going to start off with this. We were pretty much asked, how has this changed our relationship? So prior to coming here, we did have very separate lives during a large part of the day.
Well,
it got a little less the last couple of years because your work days were a little shorter.
Well, and then you were working from home,
and then
I mean, because of COVID, and so it was sort of like a trial run of coming to Mexico because we were spending more time together. But I mean, previous to that, it was. I mean, like most people in the U.S., it was you went to work, I went to work, we came home, we ate. We did our own little thing as far as, boom, 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 boom. We went to bed, rinse, repeat, and started all over again. And
we didn't really spend as much quality time with each other because, work days with travel, commute, and everything else could be 10-hour days. And then, of course, you're tired. And then if you have other things that you need to do when you're home, like for a while there, I was taking science college courses with labs in the evenings. So that was taking up a lot of my time. And he's watching TV or sports, whatever he's doing.
Well, and one of the things, got to point this out. We understand each other very well. We commuted for a while because I would almost have to drive right by where she was working. And our schedules were so that it made it easy for us to commute. And, in Charlotte traffic, if we didn't have to pay for 2 times the amount of gas, why? And so, mornings were no big deal, but on the way home, I'd pick her up and we'd go start driving home. And she's doing the mile a minute unload. And I'm sitting over there doing the decompression driving, and she's not expecting me to pay attention to her unload. She's just, I got to get this out, boom, boom. And so it's boom, 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 boom. And I'm over there just going.
There was a period in my life where I was considering being a psychology major. And so I always have interests in relationship dynamics and things like that. And I learned very early on that the distinct difference, generally speaking, with a broad brush, the distinct difference between men and women is that women's minds spin like freaking tornadoes. 100 miles a minute, things are on our mind constantly. And when we reach a point of stress, we got to dump. So if that means just talk, that's what we do. Men are much more linear. They recharge. They work steady. And then at the end of that, they got a drain moment and they have to recharge. And that's kind of the way they are. And so while I'm doing this all around him, he's just kind of straight line, recharging his battery. And I understood that.
And I understood what she was doing. I mean, it wasn't like I'm sitting here going, God, would she just be quiet? No, she was doing what she needed to do. And I was doing what I needed to do. And so, and normally by the time we got home, she had finished, I had finished, and it was okay. Let's have dinner. Now, boom.
Let's have dinner. We'll talk a little bit, do our things, go to bed.
So
that's kind of the way it was before this happened for us.
Yeah.
So we had a really, really, really good symbiotic relationship going on at that point. Then when COVID came and his hours, work hours were less and mine were more at home, we got that gradual transition of being together in the house a lot longer throughout the day. Now, he loves to watch TV and especially news. And that, I admit, was really starting to get me on edge. I was just so tired of hearing it all the time because it just never seemed like it was good news. It was always people hating people for all kinds of reasons. And you name the reason, and somebody's out there that don't like those people. And so, but in general, we had a really strong, solid relationship to begin with.
We had.
Well, we do.
Okay, I was just waiting for the shoe to fall. If there was that we had. I mean, I'm like, oh, is there something? It was solid.
Yeah. It was solid. And when I say that, what I mean is, we didn't really fight that often. Don't get us wrong. We fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody fights. Arguments.
And that's one of the things one must learn how to do is how to fight. And if you're going to have an argument or you're going to have a disagreement, you got to fight fair. I mean,
fair fights, right?
You focus on the issue at hand. If you're going to do 10 years ago, no,
that was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
That's not now.
Now we're doing a spinning in circles. So no, you got to learn how to have disagreements that, basically it's a strange way of saying it, but you have to have disagreements that are productive, because ones that involve stuff from 10 years ago, there's nothing productive.
Like one of your favorite Garth songs.
Buried the hatchet, but left the handle sticking out. No. Well, that's the name of the song.
I know. You got to leave that stuff behind. So solid relationships typically going to be the ones where you live in the now, not in the past. And you have to have enough trust in your partner that if you are constantly distrusting what they say and do, it's not a solid relationship. If you can't believe if they're telling the truth, if you're not absolutely certain that they're not, in some kind of infidelity situations and stuff like, if you're constantly doubting them, even if they're innocent, but you're constantly doubting them,
that's a red flag.
Yeah, there's a crack there.
If Gina were to sit there and go, let me look at your phone. Okay. My first question would be, why?
Yeah.
Here, I got nothing to hide, but why would you ask to look at my phone? And that would mean that somewhere she would think that there was something that I was attempting to hide.
Right.
So, that means, red flags we got going off on both ends, because one's going, she's not trusting me, and the other's going, I can't trust him.
Right.
And so, that's, but how has it changed since coming?
Well, wait, but I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's the basis. That's the main basis. As long as you've got that kind of solid foundation, then the rest of it becomes easy. But if that foundation isn't solid, then things like what we're doing right now
are impossible.
They will make those cracks into crevices and
crevasses,
valleys. It just makes it worse. It just compounds the issues that you already had. So but the question is how has it changed since crossing the border? I mean, the biggest change, and it really wasn't noticeable for the first 6 months, because the first 6 months was pure adrenaline literally. It's, we've done this, we've crossed the border, we're here, and the energy was flowing, and it's like, okay, boom, 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 boom. And then it was, all right, we were good. That's not the right way to say that. That's a bad way of saying that, Mark. We were running on the energy of the entire event through San Luis Potosí, and then going to El Tejar, and that was about 6 months in, and it's suddenly, all right, hold on. We have been with each other, for all these years, but we are now with each other
24/7.
Yeah.
And I think 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗲𝗯, we had some cracks that we had to figure out, because that was sort of a, all right, hold on, this is a whole new dynamic for us.
Let's talk about what it was, though. It was basically this. He doesn't hear real well.
Huh?
And because he doesn't hear real well, I have to constantly repeat things. I have to constantly repeat things that I say.
See, I did that just so you have to repeat it.
Yeah. And sometimes I have to say them really loudly, which I don't like to yell. Or I'll say something and he throws back some kind of obscure, I just grabbed this out of the air answer that has nothing to do with what I just said, because he didn't hear what I said.
Or I misinterpreted what you said.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we started getting these arguments pretty regularly. And I was pretty much fed up with always being accused of yelling at him, which I have to do because he's not hearing me. Well, he went and got his ears tested and got hearing aids.
Well,
it helped.
Yeah. But the other part of that is, that was one of those where, just get my attention. Because if and she's gotten better about doing that, of, and instead of facing away from me and going, no, what do you think? And I'm going, what? Turn, face me, get my attention, and then, okay, boom, and so it took some getting used to on both of our parts as to what we had to do. But the 24/7 part, that was,
I was still working.
Yeah, well, true.
In theory.
But, not long after that, then it was really 24/7.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that it was difficult. It just took both of us realizing that since we have been in Mexico, we rely on each other for everything. I mean, it's, before it was, well, I'm going to the doctor. Okay. You got it. Well, now one of us goes to the doctor, the other's going along, because we have to be able to
help translate.
Yeah. And it's a little bit more detailed. So all of that comes into play. Are there some things we do? Yeah, I went to the store today all by myself. No big deal. But
he walked.
There's things that we just, you count on the other to do, and that took a little bit of getting used to. Yeah. So the dynamic changes because of the proximity that we are. You don't have that alone time or not alone time, an outside life that we had before.
Yeah, there is no outside life.
No.
So there's no me going to concerts with my friends because he doesn't like the artist, maybe.
Or just going to work.
Or just going to work, or going to the gym, or whatever. Going out shopping for clothes or something. Yeah.
I'm gonna run up to Little Caesars and grab us a pizza. I mean, those types of events now, normally it is the two of us. So
yeah, that
part, keeps us sort of joined at the hip, which is not a bad thing at all.
Not a bad thing, but it has also brought our attention to the fact that our dynamics have changed subtly because we have aged. I mean, I have got health issues that have gotten worse as I've aged. He's got health issues that have gotten worse as he ages. And we have to navigate those things too, which we would have to do anywhere. But doing them together in another country is just like one extra layer of complexity.
But conversely, we're doing it together, and that may not have always been the case in the States. I mean, neither one of us would have, all right, I got a doctor's appointment after work today or at lunch today, whatever. We go by ourselves, we do it, we come home, and it's, so what the doctor say? And boom, 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 boom. And okay.
I mean, in some ways, if you have a really, really good, strong relationship to begin with, and you're not seeing each other or spending as much time with each other in your home country, and you find yourself spending more time with each other in a foreign country, if your relationship was really strong, it really doesn't change the relationship for you. So I'm getting there.
No, send me to go get my churros, and it gets you a long time. I mean, what's interesting though, on the just as a little short off topic, I have not been able to get into the churros since we left San Luis Potosí.
Like, he doesn't want to try. I think he's got, how you have like a favorite dish at a restaurant and you don't want it ruined by any other restaurant. It's the San Luis Potosí Jardín Tequisquiapan churro.
It's
Rellano. Yeah. Goldfish. Yes, we do have kids. Let me see if I can get this to show up. We have 3 daughters, not together. I have the oldest and the youngest, and he has the middle one.
Mm-hmm.
And they are all in their late 20s to early 30s.
35, 33, 28.
Okay, well.
Okay, I'm just.
See, we're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the 2 older ones each have a daughter. And the younger one is in this forever relationship with a fine young man, but they're not married yet. I don't know if they ever will be. So, and I would never kill him, because then I would be all alone.
Then she'd have to pack the car.
I would have to, no, I would not pack the car.
Yeah, see? She'd leave my shit here with the body and then go, okay, I'm taking the art stuff and other stuff.
Yeah, see, so Mark needs churros. He has to go get his alone time buying his churros, but he hasn't wanted any.
We haven't really been just for shits and giggles on the churro part. We haven't really been in a place that's had churros that were as close as what it was.
No, I mean, they're a little different.
Convenience-wise, San Luis Potosí was, it was 2.5 blocks. It was a perfect little walk for us after dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then we really, really loved that park. And so it did not take either one of us saying boo. And the other was like, you want to go to the park? And she looked at me and go,
Sure.
Yeah, you're going to get a churro.
You're going to get churro.
I'm coming with you. I mean, it just, but.
So about the couples, a lot of military couples, retired couples, I agree, Andrew. I think I hear the same. And often I hear that they need to find hobbies, if just to have some time to themselves, if that's what they need, just to decompress. I don't really know what Mark's hobby would be, because he's really deep into playing games on his laptop, or he'll watch some sports. I mean, that's his thing. For me, it used to be a lot of streaming, a lot of music, but lately it's been YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, I was up all night long. I didn't go to bed until about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. I was up all night long doing our Huatulco Airbnb video. I wasn't tired, but you know what? It was quiet time. He was sleeping. I was working really hard all night to get the video done, and it's done. And then I went to bed. And I slept until 2. So he had alone time while I was sleeping. We just make it work out.
Well, and it worked out well, because the Braves played at 10 o'clock this morning here. Yep. So, it was like I got to watch my Braves game, and she got to get her sleep in, and,
Yeah. And what are you smoking, honey? The black 𝗬𝘂.
Of course.
Always black 𝗬𝘂, Goldfish. He gets those at a cigar factory that's very close to Querétaro.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, Goldfish, I'm going to hit this up with the kids. Let's talk about the kids. How would kids change your situation? Okay, so if we had children here, the situation would be such that we would have to get them into a school. And it is always very highly recommended that you send them to a private school as a foreigner, for two reasons. Kids are kids. And if kids have a reason to pick on a kid,
worldwide,
doesn't matter where you are. If kids have a reason to pick on a kid, they will.
Anything that's different.
Right. And so if you have this child who is not fluent in Spanish, who obviously doesn't look Mexican, they're probably going to get picked on at school. And you don't want to add that additional stress to them. So most people who bring their children here will look for a private school. And often it'll be a school that is bilingual most of the time.
Well, it would make no sense to send them to a school that wasn't bilingual.
Well, right.
Because I mean, if you're gonna move here, fortunately for the young people, learning another language is so much easier than being a 63-year-old gringo who is still trying to figure that out. But I was proud of myself because the other night we got locked out on the terrace. And
we did. It's my fault.
And
the door latch automatically locks if it's closed too tight.
She was going through Google Translate, and I was like, un momento, and actually was able. Young lady Gina was like, ayuda, ayuda.
I was standing on the balcony, just calling out to anybody that could hear us, ayuda, ayuda.
And so this young lady came out. I don't know if she thought beating or whatever, but all she heard was the help. And she came out building across the way and down a little bit. And she looked up and I said, estamos encerrados en la terraza, pero la puerta de la casa está abierto. Si posible, ayúdame, por favor. So, and she was like, un momento.
And right over.
And she came right over, walked in the front door, opened it for us, and it was like, gracias.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So Goldfish, I do see your additional information about homeschooling them. So let's talk more about the dynamics and the socializing with children. We don't have them right now, but I would definitely say.
Well, we still have them.
But not at that age.
We're empty nesters.
So I would definitely say that aside from homeschooling, which you probably realize, of course, that they have to have some kind of social interactions with other students. So we're going to get to this in addition with like solo traveler type information, but this would apply as well. You kind of need a community. You need to build yourself a community. So if other parents, there's got to be groups, maybe on Facebook, you can find a group that has play dates for their children, things like that, so that they can interact and socialize.
Which is also good for the parents as well, because,
Right. But I think in general, it really wouldn't change that much if they're already being homeschooled, they're already home with you, or you were planning to have it that way. They would already have been home most of the time anyway. So that part's not going to change. What's going to change is their ability to interact with other children their age socially in a foreign country.
The hardest part there is going to be, you can homeschool them. I mean, unless you've got a Spanish-speaking parent that's going to teach them Spanish, somebody's going to have to teach them.
Well, he's going to get them classes.
Right. No, I understand. But what I'm saying is they need that, and they need it quickly, because that's, the one thing that isolates us the most is still, and it has gotten better. I mean, trust me, I am light years from where I was when
me too.
And she is too. When we crossed the border and that, immigration officer didn't want to stamp our passports, and we're sitting there and bless you, 𝗪𝗵𝘁, you are God to us. Sat there and was arguing with the guy that he was wrong. and the two of us, we would still be standing there at that point.
We wouldn't have been able to navigate
the
complexities of
I
the
don't
issue.
care what Google Translate was going to do. We'd have been like, no,
Mm-hmm.
And so, but learning it, because the faster you learn Spanish, the faster you start to get the warmth and the full experience of what is here in Mexico. And let me give a plug. Expat Spanish, thumbs up. I mean,
oh, maybe I should show that.
I mean, I'm now on level 5, and Gina's on level
Spanish.
3.
I'm on level 3. Level 3's been a little hard for me. It's more of this random conversation and listening. It's mostly listening to stories and see if you can comprehend what you hear, because that's half the battle, is hearing and what they're saying and comprehending it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been taking it. You get a discount if you use our code. If you're interested, we do like it. And I think it's helped me tremendously, more probably than even you, because he was doing Duolingo, although that's a vocabulary builder.
Yeah, I mean, Duolingo gave me a list of words.
Yeah.
Expat Spanish has allowed me to take that list of words and do a lot more things with them. So,
right.
That am I better? Yes. Am I as good as Tommy? No.
No. Tommy just rattles stuff off. Hi, Tom. Hey, Papa. Nice seeing you here. And Malacon Manny. Hi, salud.
Happy is Tequila Day.
It is.
It is.
I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that.
We ought to be playing some Sammy Hagar, Mas Tequila.
All right, so we're homeschooling. Hey, Tom, let's see. Wait, the only time I saw Gina Mark get into it was when Gina threw Mark in the cenote, and he got really pissed, and they ducked it out and nuked it out in the mud. Oh, please. Okay, that's not really true, guys. Tom's making that up. Mark does not get into the water ever. Any water.
Bullshit. I take a shower.
Oh, wait. He gets into the swim up bar water.
Yeah, I get in the pool. and I have been snorkeling with you.
That is true, but not.
But do I like it?
He's very cautious with the snorkeling. He's not. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm down in there. I'm holding fish food in my hand, and they're eating out of my hand. He's not real comfortable with being in that kind of water. So I think Jaws had something to do with it.
Jaws didn't have anything to do with it. The fact that as I've gotten older, my swimming technique deteriorated, and now I get in there and I struggle. And so the struggle leads to anxiety, and the anxiety just leads to more of the struggle,
yeah.
Which the anxiety then goes up even further. And suddenly I'm looking down at the bottom of the ocean going, that's 100 feet down there. I'm going to be down there shortly.
I'm going to die. Diana, the balcony story, honestly, I actually had visions of us sitting out there on the balcony all night, and it wouldn't have been a comfortable night.
I was about 5 minutes from having to relieve myself off the side of the balcony. And it was like, thank you for that young lady coming over and letting us in the house, because I needed to go.
And you know what, Goldfish, you can ask us anything you like. We really do like answering what we can, and we really like it whenever anyone who's watching is able to contribute to the community and help each other out with answers as well, because we don't know everything.
God, no.
We certainly don't claim to. So we help each other out.
Well, that depends upon the subject. Anyway.
I wouldn't touch the shower if I was made of sugar either.
Well, yeah, trust me, there ain't no much sugar here left. The older I get, the saltier the remnants are.
He's full of piss and vinegar. Let's talk about that.
I wouldn't say the piss part, because I'm always having to go to the bathroom. Anyway,
so let's touch on a couple of these key notes that we had made in the description. So the impact, what does moving to a foreign country do on your relationship? Stress. And it comes from everywhere. It's doing anything that requires you communicating with somebody in this country is going to cause you stress unless you are very, very, very fluent and you feel you can carry off the most mundane of tasks without any issues.
But the best way to help alleviate that is once we have reached the point where we have gotten a little bit better in our Spanish, I don't worry about the fact I'm going to screw up, because I know I'm going to screw up. I welcome the fact that it's going to happen. And the people here appreciate the effort.
Sure.
And so if I use the wrong tense or the wrong conjugation in a verb, they will correct me, but they will do it with a smile. And I have had in Tulum, I had a young lady that actually was I walked in there and did the whole transaction in Spanish, getting batteries for the hearing aids. And she was just like, and I said, lo siento, mi español es muy malo. And no, gracias,
Yeah.
And she was very appreciative of that entire thing. So I learned that dump the stress. You're going to screw up. That's,
okay.
The fact that if you think that's not going to happen.
That's his take on it. Here's my take on it. I'm not talking about the fact that maybe you might say a few words wrong. It's the fact that you have to do it in the first place and you don't know where to start. The first week I was here, I'm trying to figure out why our gas was off.
Whoa.
I mean, that's stress. Who do I talk to? Where do I go? What do I say? Who do I call? I mean, you don't know. And you don't know how things necessarily work, especially when you're new. You don't know what the bureaucracy is like. You don't know what the turnaround time might be like. The traffic when we first got here, learning how to drive in it.
Oh,
it's different. It's a different life. We're not just about language. We're talking about culture.
Yeah.
And everything about the way the people live here and what they're used to is not what you're used to.
No, you have to assimilate yourself into that particular. And having now driven here for almost 2 years, the Mexican driving method, they share the road better than anybody I have ever. I mean, the U.S. could take lessons from the way that the Mexican people drive. Now, there's some that you want to go really, sudden right-hand turn from the left-hand lane and things like that. That happens. But, when you're driving on the carretera, if a truck pulls over in front of you to the left-hand side, and starts hugging the center lane, what he's telling you, when we first started doing it, I was like, why is he doing this? What he's telling you is it's not safe for you to pass. And once we learned that, it was like, wow, okay, and they would pull over and onto the shoulder, and they turn their turn signal on. And, finally I realized that, what he's letting me know is it's clear, go. And so, that was something there. But all these things take time to learn. And it's, are they stressors on a relationship? Driving and not driving. Well, yeah, driving is our biggest stressor between the two of us. And it's just because, she's always trying to go, be cognizant of where we are and what's going on. And I am too. And we haven't had an accident yet, but it's okay. What are you doing?
I'm getting information for a question.
Okay. And I'm like, but yeah, that, so learning what you're going to encounter is probably the hardest thing. And the other part is you don't know what you're going to encounter, but how it affects us, I think the best part is we look at everything that we have encountered and have gone, you know what? It's all been good. And the other part is we talk about things more than we used to, as far as mundane things, because mundane things down here are not so mundane. I mean, what we would encounter at a grocery store, neither one of us would have talked to one another about that when we got home, unless it was just, something audacious, but here again, the culture, it drives her nuts when we go to the grocery store.
It does.
But down here, when they're working in an aisle, they're working in an aisle. And
you have to work around the employees here. That's something that takes some getting used to. In the United States, you're the customer and the customer's always right, and the people serve the customer and yada, yada, yada. And when they do restocking and things like that, they typically do it during off-peak times, if not the middle of the night. But in Mexico, they do it while you're there shopping.
Mm-hmm.
It's the middle of the day. If it means entire pallets are blocking the aisle, if it means 3 or 4 of them have the entire aisle blocked because they're restocking, if they're doing a store reset, it's the middle of the day. And it does make me crazy, because I'm like, geez, I just want to get my groceries and leave, but I can't even get into the aisle. And that's on me, and I have to learn. That's just the way it is here.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of adjustments. It's cultural differences.
And it's not on them to change for us. No. It's on us to change for them.
Yeah.
And so the hardest part is going, all right, let me check my gringoism at the door and deal with it the same way that everybody else that's walking through the door does. And it really is not that difficult.
Tom, you're singing our praises. We love you for that. Thank you. We are positive. Yes, we are positive, and we do appreciate the people. We, we'll just say we know, and we appreciate the community, the love, and the hard work that is displayed by the Mexican people overall. And we'll just leave it at that, because we've said it so many times before.
The biggest thing, I mean, to me, are the smiles. I mean, it really is that you never know if they're having a bad day, because first of all, the hardest part crossing the border is getting used to the fact that you have to stuff the old way of dealing with people in the trunk, because that doesn't work anymore. You have to now go, you know what? I got to talk to people, because you're going to walk by people and they're going to do, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches, and you can be the rude gringo and go walk right on by, or you can go, you know what? They're speaking to me. And most of the time they're smiling when they say it. So why don't I speak back and smile back at them? And suddenly, you know what? The whole day's a little better. You're just like, yeah.
Oh, Diane, you guys are I'm like, am I blushing a little bit? Let's get back to the impact of the foreign move. Okay, so the impact really is an increase in stress, and all the little mundane things that you wouldn't think twice about how easy they are to do suddenly become stressful. That for me to have to call someone on the phone is almost impossible, even still. And I have taken calls, delivery drivers and things like that, and it was stressful. I muddled my way through it, and we got through it okay, but it was not the perfect transaction in conversation at all. So yeah, I already don't like talking on the phone at all.
No, she
now
doesn't.
I hate talking on the phone, and now add to that, then I'm trying to converse with someone in a foreign language, and it's difficult. And one of the reasons I got the phone that I got is that it's got this AI on it that it will translate the entire conversation back and forth. It hasn't worked perfectly. It's a little bit cumbersome. It does work, but it's cumbersome. And the people on the other end,
don't
they don't know it's coming.
And how do you convey to them that, oh, you know what,
my conversation is going to be translated for you, but give it a minute, because it takes a minute for it to come. It's
difficult. And
making it a doctor's appointment, making a dental appointment, eye appointment, audiology appointment.
And to be honest, jump into WhatsApp, because Mexico runs on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what they do. And WhatsApp, you can text everybody on WhatsApp, and that makes it a whole lot easier to translate, because now it's written word, which, okay, you got time to, I got this paragraph. Well, let me translate the paragraph. Oh, okay, they're asking me this.
Right.
And so that,
that's pretty much how I made my appointment.
I know. And so WhatsApp is something that, I hate social media, but WhatsApp is a way of life in Mexico. It's just,
and it's useful. I mean, we've ordered food with WhatsApp. I've made doctor appointments with WhatsApp.
How many times does the food ever get there? That's a whole.
Well, the WhatsApp is but that was other apps. The WhatsApp always worked. And I guess the biggest impact on the relationship, honestly, is going to be that if you are with someone, you are now with them more hours of the day, and you're going to be probably more reliant on them than you were previously. And that's the biggest impact.
And that requires a little bit of work both ways, because not only are you more reliant, but the other person has to go, why are you asking me all this? I mean, and so both of you have to buy in 100% and go, you know what? It's going to be on us. That's the way it's going to, the cookie's going to crumble. So if we're going to make it, we're going to make it together. Yeah.
I want to make it with you.
Baby, we're still alive.
Oh, gosh. Hola, Bruno. Bruno, is it not showing me? Hey, hi, Bruno. And Nature Lover, how you doing? Goldfish, since texting started, I won't talk on the phone either. Super awkward. I never liked it. Look, stereotypical girl from the 70s and 80s, hooked to a phone, then the cord is stuck in the wall. I hated talking on the phone. If I had a friend that would call and they wanted to talk, I felt like I was just in jail. I hated talking on the phone. Excuse me. And I still don't. And it's just gotten worse. And texting is better. And I think my kids are the same way. They learned it from me, for real. Oh, gosh. Walmart aisle traffic yes, it's crazy. You just roll with it. You have to. And you can't let it get to you. Yes, it does bother me, but you can't let it get to you. It's just
the biggest thing you really have to understand is that, you know what? This is the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything else down here, when you figure out what the norm is, it's a whole lot easier to roll with it, and some things, and that's the hardest part. Honest to God, the first year, something would happen and we would think that's the way it was for everything. Well, no, we may have hit a one-off in the first 6 weeks, but we thought that was going to be the norm. And, so now that it's coming up on 2 years, we have a whole lot better understanding of what is normal. Going up to a barber shop at noon, the odds of me getting a haircut at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon probably ain't gonna happen. I mean, but the hours are listed from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
No, it's lunchtime.
It's lunch,
late breakfast,
whatever, and so in the U.S. you'd be going, what the hell is going on? They're not open. They list out, that's just the way it is. And you sort of go, okay,
There you go. How long we been together? It's been a long time.
Well, this is year 25.
We've been seeing each other for 25 years. We got married on April 4th.
4407.
Damn it, I was getting there. I knew there was a 7 in there somewhere. I'm really bad about the year. And the only reason I ever remember that it's April 4th, honestly, is because somebody that we knew just happened to be in Vegas on the day we were getting married and in the casino and saw us and took a picture and gave it to us later. And it was one of those ones that had
the camera with the date on
Right.
it. And so when we printed out a 5x7, which we still have of all the pictures we kept, that was definitely one that was a keeper.
Yeah.
And that was, right down the corner, 4407.
And I'm terrible with the date. Women are always the ones supposedly remember all the dates of all the important things in life, right? No, he's a numbers guy over here. I'm bad. I'm bad with the dates, particularly in this situation because we've been together longer than that. It just took a number of years for us to actually get married. So there we go.
Well, yeah, we had to get rid of exes, and but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
but I mean, no. Long as she's still with me, I don't give a rat's ass how long it's been. As long as it's till eternity, that's the only part that matters. So,
yeah, we're just a couple of lovebirds. And Tom, you're absolutely right about the WhatsApp. And since I'm not as well traveled as you are, I didn't realize that a lot of other people around the world are using it. I remember the first time I got it was about 10 years ago. It was suggested when we came to Mexico for a music festival.
Yep.
And it was like, everybody at the festival, let's get WhatsApp so we can stay in touch. And when we have these different meetups around the resort, we can text each other. It was an ultimate fail. And as soon as I got back to the States, I uninstalled it. And I never really was a fan of it. But when you're in Mexico, you need it. You absolutely do need it. And people will make phone calls with it, voice internet protocol phone calls. So, they're not paying for the phone call. They're doing it through WhatsApp. Now, right. WhatsApp is owned by the Meta company, which also owns Facebook, I think X. No, not X.
No.
Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp are all the same company. But, it's a necessity. And I'm not a huge fan of having all these extra applications, but everybody here uses it. Everybody.
Everybody.
The audiologist used it. My orthopedic doctor uses it. Everybody uses it. Yeah.
I mean, when somebody does an advertisement, restaurant, whatever, any business, they list the WhatsApp number, and that's.
Oh, Mark is drinking Corona. It's a Corona. Corona Extra.
Corona Extra.
He's not even using limes.
Nope.
Which is a surprise because he used to.
Well, if Tommy was here, we have to do limes because he likes the Coronas with the limes.
And this is so true. I tell people, don't call. Just text me. So true. Send me a message, DM, whatever.
And I'm the other way.
Yeah.
My family, it's like, you know what? We'd rather talk to one another because you don't get the misinformation. You don't misinterpret anything. It's
the Corona is 4.5%, but I don't know. Do you know what the percentage is on the other ones that you've tried?
Oh,
Victoria, Modelo. What was the other one you tried?
Carta Blanca, Pacifico.
These are all pretty close to the same alcohol content.
I mean, I'm a Pilsner person, so I don't know what the Modelo Negro is. Have to ask Winston that.
This is true, Tom. This is absolutely true. See, and that's it. Like in the United States, people have schedules to keep. You got places to be. You can't be more than 10 minutes late from your lunch appointment, your lunch break from work and things like that. So everybody expects everything to just run smoothly and be very, easy, timely. And it's not like that here. And you're right. Where else you got to be?
I remember one of the very first YouTube videos that I really paid attention to was Retired Life in Mexico, no bull, and it was 𝗃𝘂𝗪, and he was standing in line at a Home Depot in Monterrey, and he was sitting there, and the person that was up checking out was taking forever, reaching in the wallet, pulling out and he was like, and he looked around and he went, you know, I'm the only one that's getting bent out of shape over this. And then he realized, and this was one of the things I loved, that his statement was, where else do I have to be? So I can get bent out of shape about this, but the only person that I'm affecting is me.
Yeah.
He goes,
yeah.
Sit back, enjoy, relax, and go with the flow and go with it on the Mexican timeline. And you know what? He's right. You just...
Yeah, we went to the 𝗃𝘅𝗃𝗪𝗃 just a couple days ago, picked the shortest line that was there. But the person in front of us had 4 separate orders to get rung up, and she was taking her time, even bending over into the cart to get something. I mean, she was in no hurry whatsoever. 4 separate transactions.
Yep.
And he looked at me and goes, of course, I picked the one, and she's got 4 transactions. And I'm like, where we got to be?
And she was right. I mean, it just, my mom is like, you know, that every once in a while, the gringo sort of comes back and okay.
Oh, gosh. Tom likes lime with lime.
I know he does.
Tom, I've been having té negro con limón lately. It's like a favorite thing now. And I would be all about lemon in my tea, but the lime in my tea has been working out quite well. I skipped somebody. Oh, hey. Hola, Samuel. A few videos I've watched, you guys have been great. Did you ever end up taking your records to Mexico? Not yet.
We haven't picked the final
destination. Thank you, by the way. I'm glad that you like them. The records, because we're still moving and we have an SUV that is packed with a bag on the roof. I mean, it's that full. We can't fit records. And even if we could fit records, that SUV wouldn't be able to carry them all. I have like 1,500 albums.
I can't imagine trying to go up some of the mountains that we have gone up, trying to pull the weight of those albums. It'd be like, ugh.
So, and because of the traveling, because of the heat and everything else, they're in a climate controlled storage unit. And when we pick a final destination, then we will somehow make our arrangements to get them moved down here.
Yeah, we will figure that out.
We'll figure that out when the time comes. That's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky because we have learned that you can't bring it in as home goods. You get to bring in like one delivery of basically household goods for your home. You get one free pass to do that, and it has to be your hobby items, and that would include these records. Anything that you have in excess of what would be considered reasonable hobby supplies would not be counted, and you would have to pay the import taxes and everything for them. So we were told basically of all the stuff that you import, 15% of it, only 15% of it can be something other than home goods. And that's not going to be these records. These records will make up easily more than half. So, but we're making friends who know ways of getting them in a good way. So just saying, we have friends. We have friends in low places, in high places.
It's on the bottom of my thing right here. Yeah. Anyway.
Alma, hola. I have to say that when my hubby and I travel for more than a week, on our flight home, we sit apart from each other. It's a good way to transition back to our normal couple life. Oh, maybe you need that respite, but I don't know.
No, I mean, honestly.
Yeah, whatever works for you.
No, we all take our times of needing me time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and whatever you want to do during the me time, you know what? We all need it. And so, you know, I sit outside, have my cigar, got my phone, and it's just sort of like, okay, you know, And fortunately for us, we have two different biological clocks, totally different biological clocks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm up between 5 and 6 in the morning. That's when I get up. And then that's sometimes when she's going to bed.
Sometimes,
not often.
my usual time is 7 to 8 in the morning when I get up.
Yeah, but you know, so I get my couple of hours in the morning of just let me start my day with my way of doing it, and you know, and then I go to bed and take my Kindle and go to bed early, and she gets her at the end of the day. That's her time to So, you know, everybody needs that little bit of a break. And the biggest thing I might have to say, to be honest, is you have to respect the fact that, you know what, I like my time. She likes her time. I have to look at that and go, you know, it's not fair. I just get my time. No, I mean, we all need our time. So, you know, give people a little bit of space.
I haven't had to throw him a Snickers bar or anything like that because you get hangry.
No, God knows here, Snickers here in 𝗲𝘂𝗪𝗀𝗀, that would be a mush.
Gosh, it's so hot here. Okay. Let me see. I'm missing. Oh, have you tried 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗲𝗃? I think you have.
I have both 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗃, and 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗃 was not, let's see, how do I say this correctly? I didn't have as much of a dislike of 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗃 as I did of 𝗃𝘅𝗃𝗃. 𝗃𝘅𝗃𝗃 just did not agree with me, flavor-wise. You know, and it's just.
I don't always drink.
I don't
𝗘𝘅𝗃,
always.
But when I do.
No,
it's
I
not
don't
𝗃𝘅𝗃𝗃.
always drink 𝗃𝘅𝗃𝗃s. You know, I'm ready to be the most, you know,
most interesting man in the world.
If I only had the hair, you know.
Gosh, I actually missed those commercials. I thought that was funny. Hey.
Hola, Lisa.
Hola, Lisa. And Julie, yes. WhatsApp also translates, which is great. It is a big help. Although the other thing about WhatsApp that I like is that you can also download a desktop version of it, and you can just type on your desktop too. And I like that because if I'm on the laptop and I'm doing stuff, it's just very convenient for me to just have it right there and not have to reach for my phone. So I really like that for that reason. Okay, Madam X, hola. We're worming in getting our appointment for the consulate.
I think that's working.
We're working. Well, you could be worming it in too.
I think it's working.
You could do both.
I think it's working on getting.
Okay. And we are having fun navigating the process. Are you really having fun? Are you really having fun?
That was the biggest, honestly, that was the biggest stressor.
Yes, it was.
The entire move to Mexico.
It was
that damn appointment at the consulate.
Trying to get the appointment and then getting everything they wanted while we were at the appointment and then waiting for the final word as to whether we were given a visa or not. I mean, that was stress. Of everything that we've done, the planning, selling stuff, even if the 3-month timeline of liquidating everything we owned, all of that, the worst part was that consulate appointment.
And quite honestly, the stress of getting ready for that appointment, because you're going, if we screw this up, everything we have just, I mean, we pushed all the chips into the middle of the table and we're like, we're all in. And if that had gone south, we'd have been like, uh-oh. Now what? And I mean, fortunately, we were pretty confident that that wasn't going to be the case. But in hindsight, we're going pretty ballsy on our part to just sort of make that assumption.
This is, you know what, Goldfish, this is really a really good philosophical question. And what's the hardest thing you've had as a couple in your journey? Thank you, honey. And not necessarily to Mexico, just in life in general. been married for 10 years. Key advice. Okay. The hardest thing is complete honesty, because honesty will make you vulnerable. Honesty may hurt someone else's feelings. And honesty can destroy a relationship or strengthen it.
Well, honesty only destroys a relationship that's built on sand.
True.
A relationship that is built on a solid foundation, honesty only strengthens it. If you really, a phenomenal book to read about my take on life as in general is 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗲𝗪 𝗪𝗲, the prophet. And when it comes to marriage and relationship, the strongest house stands with two strong pillars.
Yeah.
And by having the two strong individual pillars, you can build the strongest house versus one that teeters. And so it really, you have to allow the other person to be who they are. You have to strengthen, and you have to buy in and give them the support to be the best them that they can be, because the better they are, the better you get. I mean, you know, and then that's it. It really is pretty simple.
I mean, have you ever heard of the analogy that some of the best rock, or some of the best concerts, doesn't have to be rock, some of the best concerts that you will ever attend are going to be the ones where the band is feeding off of the positive energy from the audience, and the audience is feeding off of the energy from the band.
God,
and
I don't help a concert at all.
You do not. He does not. I'll explain that later. But there's a cycle that's happening. And the more that cycle goes, the stronger it gets. And that's kind of the same idea. So the hardest thing that we have had to deal with is honesty and trust.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know. I don't want to say you have to know, because you don't always know.
No, you have to give it, and you have to be willing
Right.
to receive it.
Right.
And you have to receive it in a way that you go, they're not attacking, they're being honest, and they're making themselves extremely vulnerable
Right.
by being honest with you to share this, because a lot of times people in relationships go, if I say this, this person's going to take this the wrong way.
Perfect example. Lady comes out and says, "Oh, honey, how do I look?" And she's wearing a god-awful outfit. And her husband doesn't want to hurt her feelings. "Oh, you look great, honey." And then everybody's talking about them at the party that they're going to because she looks awful. Just tell her the truth. You can say the truth gently.
And ladies, don't ever ask, does this make my ass look wide? Because there is no way that any guy can answer that question.
I disagree. I have a big butt. I have a big butt, and I cannot lie. Okay? It's true. If I was to ask him if it made my butt look big and he told me no, I would know he wasn't telling the truth. But you could.
But that's one of those questions that you just put your significant other in a position where, okay, am I going to be truthful? Everything you wear, you have a big ass. So everything you wear, yes, that it doesn't hide that fact, you know. So
oh, I know it's true though, but you know, it's the honesty and the trust.
Yes, and
there have been weak moments in our marriage where
and giving it back and forth, and receiving and giving. You have to take what is being told to you, and not as a personal attack, because as soon as you make it personal,
you're done.
Well, now we're back to the learning how to fight
fairly
and productively, because having a disagreement can be extremely productive, but it has to be received, even though you piss like hell and you're going.
No, the big one about his hearing. We had a huge blow up. It was huge. And then he realized that the reason he was so agitated and the reason I was getting accused of yelling at him and starting things is because he couldn't hear. He wasn't hearing.
Huh?
And when he got his hearing aid, it totally changed. I mean, we haven't had a fight like that since.
No.
But it was huge.
But the other part of that is that she also now understands that I'm not being
he just doesn't
cranky.
hear. Right.
It's because I didn't hear what you said. And so, instead of getting, oh, geez, really? I'm going to have to say this again. She realizes that, oh, you know what? He didn't hear me. Let me turn around and address him. And then suddenly I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the store right now. Can we go in an hour? Okay.
Right.
And so something as mundane as that could trigger an argument, because I'm having to say this for the third time instead. And I'm like,
But I mean, honestly, I would say, Goldfish, honest, it's learning to trust and learning to be honest. Don't sugarcoat. Don't make things, oh, this might offend them or make them unhappy if I say it this way. Just be honest. You can say things kindly and honestly.
When you take that first step down the road of dishonesty,
that's what fractures it.
Each step you get further and further away from the honesty, and that makes it that much harder to be honest, because then it becomes, well, why didn't you tell me that 6 months ago? And you're going, you know what? That's on me, because I should have said it 6 months ago.
Yes.
Again.
Oh, okay. And I need to type the book in the chat so that you can see the book. Hola. So memories. You've been using WhatsApp too, with Cuban and Mexican amigas. That's good. That's excellent. What's the name of the book, honey? I'm going to type it in here.
It is called The Prophet.
The Prophet.
And it is Khalil. I think it's Khalil Gibran. One B RAN.
Is that right?
I think that's right. Don't hold me to the spelling.
Hold on. I'm going to do a search real quick and make sure I got the right.
It was written, if memory serves me right.
Ooh, you were right. He's good. There you go.
It was written in 26. He was I think at the time that would have been Persian, not Iranian. He would have been a Persian philosopher. And the book, I mean, sorrow carves out the greatest cavities in the heart to hold more joy. It's, suddenly it's not a big book. It doesn't take a whole lot to read it, but it is one that once you read, you sort of put there and go, oh, I'll pull this book up again, because there's all sorts of little things, raising children, all sorts of things. So
wait, Jesse, it's a good thing you're single. We need to discuss this.
No, we don't, because you know what? Some people,
So were the hearing aids a good price?
$1,000 a piece.
They were $1,000 each plus the audiology appointment, which at that part wasn't that much.
No.
I don't know what they're running these days in the United States, but it did feel like we paid about 50% of what it would have cost in the U.S.
Again, it was really hard to do a apples to apples, because from what we have heard, there are some people who are saying that they have done some things in the U.S. that have made the prices start to go down. you know, and we were comparing it with what my mom paid, and my mom has Lexus hearing aids that do the Bluetooth and all the, you know, so it's sort of a can't really give you firm.
I'm gonna hit this one next. So how to ensure your relationship is solid before taking the leap? Well, we pretty much discussed that leading up to this already. A solid relationship is one where you have no doubts. You have no doubts about your significant other. You're not worried about who they're talking to on the phone. You're not worried about them being an hour late from work. You're not worried that they're not being honest with you when you have a discussion about anything. You trust them. There's solid trust, and you know that you're getting honesty. And that is the solid relationship. And what he was saying about the foundation and the support, that is a solid relationship. If you are already having some issues and you think a change of scenery will fix that,
it's going to compound it dramatically.
It's unlikely. It's unlikely that it's going to make it better. It's more likely that it's just going to continue to be worse.
Basically, it's got to be built on granite, not on sand, because you are going to become so reliant on each other that if, and again, it's right back to the honesty. And when I say honesty doesn't always go this way. Sometimes honesty is having a conversation with the person in the mirror,
internal,
and going, you know what? This annoys me, but it's her, and it's what she does. And so, is it really something that is it a hill I want to die on, or is it something that I really need? You know what? You need to get over it. And so you have to have the honest conversations with yourself and the person in the mirror sometimes and go, okay, this one I can't deal with. We need to have a discussion.
Yeah.
And this one, this is me being stupid, and I need to.
I have some OCD tendencies, and I can be very, very repetitive. I totally realize this. I can be repetitive in shows I watch, conversations I have, music I play. We mentioned this earlier. I got the
we talked about it earlier, but not on here.
I got the DJ mix of what was it? Was it Let's Go Crazy on one side? The whole point was I got it because the B side was Erotic City. It was the only way you could get Erotic City on vinyl back then, because it wasn't on an album. It was the B side of this extended play DJ record. So I get it. And I played it all morning long. And he comes home from work and he comes up the stairs after hearing it over and over. How many more times are you going to play that? I think I've heard it 6 times. I said, oh, honey, I've played it at least a half dozen times or a dozen times already.
Good.
But
that means
like,
that means
you've heard it.
That means
it's time to end it. Meanwhile, I'm out there going, we can funk until the dawn. And he's like sick of it. He's so sick of it.
I endured it for 6, and then I was finally
and then he was like, that's it. You got to stop. Stop.
Yo.
And at the same time, we have this running gag now. I'm gonna embarrass him. he could be up in bed reading his Kindle. He's all ready for bed, teeth brushed, everything. And 15, 20 minutes later, I might come to bed. And as soon as I get in the bed, he farts. Every damn time.
Half the time I'm asleep.
And look, he can't control that. But I'm like, look, are you waiting for me to get in bed to do this?
No, I'm not up there. I'm not up there going, ooh.
You can't do this before I get in bed.
Oh, they pinch this tight. So I know she's coming. I mean, come on. I mean.
So.
And what's weird is we now turn this the other way. Is I do it when I go to sleep. First thing in the morning.
It happens in the morning for me.
So
I don't know why.
I mean, it's
Oh, goodness. So Winston, the prophet, where did it go? Why is Winston not coming up? That was me. I saw you, Winston. I saw you here somewhere. There you are. Incredible book.
It is. It is. Thank you to my Uncle Fred. He gave it to me when I graduated high school. And it is a book that when you read it, you will come away a changed person. I mean, it really is.
We met Winston this past week.
Yeah.
And for 2 nights, we kept that poor man up till 2 a.m. on the patio out here. And they talked a lot about books. The two of them went back and forth talking about books.
And one that matter of fact, Winston gave me the heads up on Once an Eagle, which I am reading right now, which is written by 𝗃𝘅𝗽𝗪, Myrer, and it's basically a required reading for anybody who goes to the West Point Academy. And it follows the career of a young man who starts in World War I and takes him, I think, all the way through Vietnam, and he becomes a general. I am 60-some% of the way through the book, and it is a phenomenal read. It's basically him and a protagonist who, one does things the right way, caring about people, and the other is all about, let me get by on who I know and how I play the political game and how they diametrically oppose each other. And it's
a good read.
It's a good read. It's a long read now. It's a long read.
Goldfish, you just keep popping up. I love you too. I can listen to you two for days. Well, good.
Because we tend to go over days.
I think Cindy's laughing about the farts. I'm not real sure.
All right.
Oh, let's get on to the next item here. All right. So how about strategies? Strategies for relying on and supporting each other in a new culture. Okay. I think both of you, if there's two of you, it could be a solo person, but learning the language, huge, good strategy.
Oh,
I mean, you need it.
The most important strategy of them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if one of you knows the language, that helps dramatically, because then you can actually communicate for two, and while the other is learning. And so that part really is enlightening. Yeah. And it also takes a lot of stress off of the relationship.
I think also you get to know a people and their culture if you know their history.
Yes.
So we are both very much into history already anyway. So learning about Mexico's history has helped us to understand why some things may be the way they are. And that in turn also helps us understand how to navigate and respond to various situations that we find ourselves in. And the language and knowing the history and the culture and the social environment that you find yourself in will then allow you to support each other when you have that moment where, for instance, I'm getting irritated because I can't shop at the store because the aisles are all blocked up, right? But I'm trying to temper that because I realize this is just something within me. And he's very supportive of that. Oh, we'll just go down this other aisle, or I'll just walk down there by myself. You stay here with the cart. Things like that. Just helping each other navigate the things that he knew that this was something that bothered me. So he worked with me so we could get this task done and try to reduce some of that. The driving in Mexico. This has been hard because we got the hearing situation.
Huh?
I'm the navigator. He can't really see the GPS map real well because of the type of lenses he may be wearing or whatnot. He can't see, and there's glare.
I
on
can't
the
see the screen, and just
so I have to navigate, and then I have to communicate, and then he's already stressed with the driving, and what can become sometimes some pretty heated situations in the car become less and less so, because we understand now that he can't see the screen. I have to be very clear when I'm talking to him about what turn is coming up and things like that. And I realize by watching his body language, how tight he's holding the wheel, whether he's stressed or not. And these are how you support each other to navigate the situations you find yourself in.
And the drive from San Cristobal to Huatulco, I think there's permanent indentations on the steering wheel because I was gripping that thing like
his knuckles were white.
I mean, it was like doing slalom skiing during parts of it, either because of the turns or because of avoiding the potholes. Now, another strategy: check your shit at the border.
All of it.
All of it.
That
nobody down here cares whether you're red or you're blue. They don't care. Now, the only people we've found who do care are the people who failed to check their shit at the border.
Yeah.
They're wanting to live in Mexico and go, ooh, can you believe what just happened up there? How can you do this? How can you do? It doesn't matter. It's we're down here to avoid that. So,
partially.
Well, partially,
but for supporting each other. That's the biggest things. It's learning to identify the triggers. What is triggering him? What is triggering me? Not only do you have to self-identify and realize that, okay, here it is, this button got pushed. What can I do to lessen its effect on me? But his button got pushed. What can I do to lessen the effect on him?
And there's times that no matter what you do, especially like when driving, it's not the navigator's fault. It's not the driver's fault. It's called GPS cannot say the words fast enough, and suddenly you are past where you were supposed to turn. That has happened. I can't count the number of times because it doesn't know how to say something and it spells it out. I mean, literally, letter by letter by letter. And by the time it gets done, you are 2 blocks past it and you're going, really? And it's not her fault because she can't hear or see what they're trying to say when they're spelling it out. And so you're going, okay,
we got to turn around.
We got to do this,
Yeah. But I think that is the biggest strategy, is in addition to compounding everything else we said so far about being honest, having trust, being able to identify the stressors and how to lessen the stressors. And oftentimes it's just more or less one of those, okay, I recognize that this is causing me stress, but is it causing stress to anyone else? No, it's only causing stress to me, or it's only causing stress to him. Therefore, if no one else cares about this, why? Why is this a stressor to one of us? And what can we do to lessen that?
I don't know if I could figure out how to solve the GPS. That'd be 90% of our ever heading problem.
However, what we have done, the strategy for that is, okay, we need to turn around.
Yeah, I mean,
we can't. And sometimes that means 10 miles down the road,
or sometimes 33 kilometers. When we got one that, outside of Querétaro, when it said turn here, and we had 2 signs that said 150 or 57. And we took the wrong 57, and there was no way to turn around.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And we had to pay an extra toll.
And pay the extra toll. And it was like, turn around. And I'm like, I'm not going to say the word because we're trying to be at least R-rated. Blank you. I know how to get there. Unfortunately, I am pretty good about knowing how to get places.
You did.
And I went, we're going this way because I know how to get there from here. So
yes. Let's see if this shows up. And Bill and Trisha. Bill speaks Mexican. Boom. I'm learning as much as I can about Mexico's culture and history. I'm also trying to learn Spanish. 2029 can't come fast enough. I hear you. I hear you. You know what? And I really do feel like I do understand things a little bit better, having learned a little bit of each region's history along the way.
Oh God,
it
yes.
makes a huge difference. You know, and one small example is we got the whole Chiapas cartel thing that we found ourselves surrounded by. And then the more I learned about the area, the more I understood that sometimes what happens is things are born out of necessity or need. It doesn't mean it's right, but
understanding the impetus that creates that situation, you sometimes go, okay, this is not a scenario where they are out to get us, because they really weren't.
No.
But they were also, you know,
they're on the fringes of law.
But yeah, you could say that.
But we'll talk about that another time. But I'm just saying, you learn things as you go through Mexico, and you pick up on these subtle pieces of information about their history in that area, or just the history of the country in general. It helps you better understand why things are the way they are.
Perfect example would be what happened to us in Tabasco. You know, the cops don't get paid a whole lot.
No.
You know, and we hit that roadblock, and you know, he wanted something for refrescos. Well, no, I'm not saying that what he did was right. What I'm saying is we now understand better.
We understand why.
We understand why. You're right. And so, yeah, it's one of those where you go, you know, don't like it.
No.
But
Jesse, we are using Google Maps. Now we have Waze as well. But Waze,
I think, has been better in
Waze is good in certain cities,
right?
But Waze doesn't integrate as well with all of the other Chrome and Google type applications.
And we don't use Crapple.
And we don't use Apple, so we don't really use Waze that often. I have heard in Querétaro that Waze is more accurate.
And I would believe that. I mean, and again, larger cities, and you know, would I want to count on Waze coming from, you know, once we got outside of Tuxtla Gutierrez to get to Huatulco? Oh, hell no. No. You know, I didn't trust what we were dealing with to begin with.
Right. And teamwork does make the dream work. It's true. It's true. Absolutely. Oh, Jolie, the highway signs in Mexico do not give you time and distance like they do in the States. Right. And that Google lady cannot she cannot pronounce Spanish words. And when she can't pronounce it at all, she just spells out every letter. Yep.
That happened to us in Mérida. There was a shop, a little chocolate shop that sat on the corner 2 blocks south of us. And when we would go to the 𝗓𝘂𝗧, she had to spell the name of this chocolate shop out letter by letter by letter. And fortunately, by then, once you started spelling, we learned that,
we were already past the
we're turning here.
Right.
You know,
and there you go. Tabasco, thank you for supporting your local law enforcement, you know.
You know, now that has taught me that I now have 2 wallets.
Which we should have had anyway. We actually had discussed it, but it happened sooner than we thought it would.
And so now I actually did bring 2 wallets, but didn't think about putting the other one in my pocket.
Yeah.
And so now, you know, when we're doing a drive, the other wallet goes in the pocket. I keep both wallets be in the pocket, but you know, the one will be in there. So
now this is one that we're pulling in because, and we can't speak to this for personal experience, but we know we have a lot of you guys out there are solo, or you may become solo after being here for a while, unfortunately. So, you know, as a solo traveler, you don't have somebody with you all the time. And unless you're really fluent, you're going to need to have some kind of support group. Even if you are fluent, you still need to have some kind of support group. You can't just, you can if you're particularly introverted. You could, but
even an introvert needs that occasional support.
You need friends. It could be friends that you make in Mexico. It could be other immigrants or expats that maybe you do something together once a week or once a month. You know, I'm not a super huge fan of the Facebook groups because there's so much toxic energy on those groups. But there are groups like walking groups.
It's the same.
Yeah.
I think, because I don't do Facebook, but it's the same on that side of the border and this side of the border. The toxicity in social media is just prevalent. But
sometimes that's where you meet these other groups. So they can be a good source. But I think it's really important because we have seen YouTubers who seemed like they just could never be happy. But then they didn't go to groups. They didn't hang out with friends. They didn't do anything outside of the home, more or less, outside of the core family. You know, and we have friends who are solo travelers who they're out there. They put themselves out there. They meet people. We've had dinners with people and they meet other people. I've seen them post pictures where they're out and about with friends and having fun and doing things. And their friends are not all Mexican people. They're not all Spanish speaking people. But they build this small, you know, insulated group, and that's their support system.
We've done that.
Yes.
I mean, you know, Annie, Vet, and Arlene, Lise and Romy, Mark and Paulette,
𝗧𝘂,
Juanjo. I mean,
Fanny,
you know, Stefano and Claudia here, you know, and the list goes on, you know.
Yeah, Winston.
Yeah. I mean, it just
Tom.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Denise.
I was just thinking.
You know, I mean, it's just, it continues to grow. The more we grow, the more we continue to travel around Mexico, it becomes, and the ripples keep going out.
Yes.
Our family in 𝗘𝘅. I mean, you know, they just missed us being in San Cristobal. You know, we did catch up with them in the Quintana Roo, and it was just like
they sent me a WhatsApp message last week, and they said, "Are you still in San Cristobal?" And we're like, "No, we left like 3-4 weeks ago." They were on their way there, and what did they do? They messaged us. They wanted to know if we were still there. So, you know, you get this support group, right? And those become your friends. They become your surrogate family.
Yeah, they become family.
Family.
And that's the important part of everything is that's the beauty of this community. You know, is that all of you have become family with us, and that's the way we view all of you. And you know, because we really have not hit many trolls. I mean, fortunately, knock on wood, we've had a couple, but realistically, you know,
Not that many.
No.
And I was thinking, when it comes to the support, the group, the family, these people, there's a few. I forgot to mention Wilfredo.
Wilfredo,
whenever we're traveling,
Dave Valley,
yeah,
and his family,
and Ernie and
Ernie,
yeah.
and I mean,
whenever we're traveling from one major location to another, we like to share our up-to-date data with just a select handful of people as we're traveling. It's a safe thing to do.
Yes.
And, we share it with our family at home too. But what's our family at home going to do when we fall off the map?
I mean, my 84-year-old mother, I love her. Both of us love her dearly. And she gets a kick out of actually monitoring,
where we are,
how our progress is going. But if we were to disappear for an hour, much as I love my mom, she is not going to bail our ass out as far as something's happening in Mexico.
Well, she wouldn't know where
she wouldn't know. I'm not saying she wouldn't. She couldn't,
right?
Because she wouldn't have a clue, and that's why we share it with Annie Vet and Arlene, because they're fluent and everything else. And so, if something were to happen, they would be able to quickly go boom.
Yeah, they would know who to contact.
And Mark and Paulette
too. So we share it with just a few people. That's part of our safety net.
Yes.
And as a solo traveler, I think you would need that as well. Stuff happens. It does happen here in Mexico. I think that Mexico gets a bad rap overall, but stuff does happen.
Especially if you're entering the country, and you're having to cross the border, let people know, because, and we share so they can see exactly, they're moving, because nowhere in our entire journey was it as stressful as when we cross that border. I mean, that's just.
But as a solo traveler, this happens with couples too. But sometimes what happens is people come to Mexico or another country, not just Mexico, and because of the language and the culture shock, and they just never seem to really quite adjust. And when they don't adjust, they start to get lonely and they start to get homesick, and they don't have anyone to lean on aside from their partner if they have one. Well, if you're a solo traveler, that's even more important, that you need someone to lean on, because you may find yourself feeling very lonely and very isolated. And then it's just a downward spiral after that. So it's really important to have a community. And if it means online community, that's great. But I think it's also important to have people in real life, that if you need someone to go with you somewhere, you've got a friend to take with you. If you just want to go out and just talk and just have something to drink and something to eat, or if you just want to go to the movies together, it's important to have that camaraderie, I think.
And I mean, like in our case, sometimes it is nice just to hear English.
Sometimes.
I mean, it's sometimes it's pleasant to be able to go, okay, we can just shoot the breeze, and we're not going to have to try and engage the brain and let me try and have this conversation in Spanish. So there's times where it's like, okay, Excellence came at a perfect time for us, because we were like, okay, we went there for 10 days. A resort, the Excellence Resort, and we spoke Spanish with the staff, but 95% of the people who were guests there were speaking English. So that was.
And look, and this is so true right here, Bruno. That's right. YouTube family. Yes. Thank you. You guys are family too. You are. And we help each other.
Yep.
That's what makes this one of the greatest things about YouTube, is when you have a community like this that helps each other. And you can bring questions like that. And people here will answer them. If one person doesn't know, if we don't know, somebody else probably will know. And everyone seems very eager and very willing to help if they can. And yes, you know what, Tom? We love you too.
Without a doubt, my brother.
Julie, have you had family come down? People always say they rent a place with extra bedrooms, and we do. But we have not had a family come down.
We also rent places with extra bedrooms for the reason of that way all of our stuff is not in our bedroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we use the extra bedroom mostly for storage of our things.
And quite honestly, if I had to take everything up the stairway of death here, no.
Oh yeah, there's a spiral staircase right back here. Yeah, we call
and that's where our bedroom is.
We call that the stairs of death, because you'll die if you don't hit the steps just right. You know, our two oldest daughters really are not financially able to do a trip like this. The youngest,
amongst other reasons.
Yeah, the youngest daughter could, but her boyfriend that she lives with does not get vacation time, so he couldn't. So that hasn't come up yet. I think we've tried to talk to your mom about doing a trip, but she hasn't bought in yet. I don't think.
No.
Do you think she ever will?
No.
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 It's not going to happen.
I don't think so.
And so as far as I go, I don't really have any other family. I have a sister in Michigan, and she is basically being grandma, babysitting her grandchildren while her two daughters work. Nobody's got the free time or really even the money to just hop on a plane and come down to Mexico.
The closest, if I had to put money on who would be coming down family wise to see us,
Grumpy.
I have a cousin, and all his kids, his nickname is Grumpy. That's what all of his kids call him. And yeah, Jeff and Christy would probably be the first ones because they come down to Mexico.
They come for vacations.
And so, that would not surprise me if, it was suddenly, where are you guys going to be? When are you going to be somewhere by a beach?
Yeah. But I mean, my extended family is a very, very, very small one. And nobody's got the money really to come. His extended family.
Well, and quite honestly, the ones I actually expected to come first, he unexpectedly died. And I honestly expected that if anybody's going to be first, it would have been Jen and Charles, and he.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
They live in China. Shenzhen, China, and she does, and they did, and unfortunately he got cancer, and it was a quick gone, and great guy and everything else, and so she's still in China trying to put everything together, and it wouldn't really shock me too much that somewhere down the road for Jen to show up, but she has two daughters who are in college in Great Britain, because one's in Scotland, one's in London, and one's about to graduate. One is graduated.
I was going to say.
One is graduated. The other graduates next year.
That's crazy. Wow.
And it's amazing how the time just goes by. And so once I think they're both out of school, that probably a distinct possibility that Jennifer might be one that would come down. So, but anybody in my family, if you're watching this, you're welcome to come down anytime. Just, my number. Pick up the phone and call me.
Yes. Family wise, yeah. I've had some friends I've invited. We may get a visit from Lisa Jane.
that would be unbelievable. I mean, this was a young
United Kingdom. Yeah.
This was a young lady that we met.
I think she's from Blackburn.
Yep. Hold on. Where's Black Sabbath from?
I don't remember. I just know that
wherever
she's from Blackburn.
Birmingham.
Okay.
Birmingham.
That's not where she's from.
Okay. I thought that was. But anyway, this young lady we actually met on a cruise and we hit it off. And, you know, that was, oh my God, 10 years ago?
About 10 years, yeah.
And fortunately, she found her white knight and she's
talking
happily
about it. Yep. She keeps talking about it. Valentine's Day, we will be in Huatuco, August 11th through 17th. You're going to renew. Boom. Would love to meet up. We would like to meet up too.
Absolutely.
I believe we will still be
we're
here.
here till the 24th, 22nd.
Are you? Look at you. You just know. You just know these things. We are here till the 24th.
Yeah, we're here the 24th.
Yep.
Because Rick comes down on the 26th.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom, what? I have probably lived most of my life as a very dangerous existence. And well before the internet and cell phones, fearless or stupid. But now as an older guy, probably not so much. Stay safe.
You know, it's amazing that we did as much as we did back in the days without all those safety mechanisms. We just did. I mean, I remember being a salesman and always made sure that there were quarters because you had to stop, you know, every hour or so and call the office and go, somebody call for me.
Yep.
Because there wasn't a cell phone. So
this gets us down to our last bullet point for this particular live tonight. So maintaining strong ties with your home country for the fallback plan. We kind of already alluded to that sometimes things just happen. Stuff happens. Like, how about 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗪 and Linda? Shit happens was their last video that they released. You know, it's true. Stuff happens. And if you have sold everything that you had to go to another country, and then you have to return back to your home country, you're essentially starting life all over again. And it's a whole lot harder to do it when you're older, especially if you've liquidated everything. And now you're like, you just have money and that's all you have. And prices have gone up around the world for everything, right? I mean, it's hard to start over. Now, I knew Paul and Linda had gone back to the US almost a year ago because I knew Linda had an issue with one of her parents. And so I wasn't shocked to see that video, but it does hammer home that sometimes even when you're living your best life, stuff happens. And you may find yourself going back to your home country. So you need to kind of maintain some kind of ties. You have to have a fallback plan. And for some people, they don't have ties. Maybe they don't have any family left in their home country, but maybe they have some friends. You know,
also
stuff.
It tells you how much you can make off of YouTube. Because, I mean, we're talking a channel where he has two channels and both of them have over 100,000 subscribers. And he went back to the States, you know, with Linda, and he wasn't able to make it work. He had to go back to work because YouTube wasn't paying enough. So, you know, it's like,
yeah, YouTube.
We ain't getting rich here.
No. YouTube is not a money maker. If the number of subscribers you have has nothing to do with the amount you get paid. You get paid for the number of times your videos get watched. And if you're not producing videos, then you're not getting watched that much. I mean, yeah, you've got evergreen content. People go back and look at your older stuff, but it's not. This is why some YouTubers get burnout, because you have to constantly produce new stuff. And what may be a hobby and just for fun for a while, if you rely on it as an income, it becomes a job like any other job. and you have to constantly work at it.
And the hardest part is I watch her put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into creating. Now, part of that is because the fact that she has this vision here.
And then this OCD tendency.
That if it's not there on the screen, she doesn't stop until what is here shows up on there, so that you guys see what she has that mental image of. Because there's times where,
oh heck, selecting music alone, I could spend hours listening to music sample after sample after sample until I find the right one. And sometimes it's still not the right one, but it's the best I could find. But aside from that, you got to maintain those ties.
But what I was going to say is that you do all that, and if you break that down, what we make a month from YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
that's where I was going.
We might make $75 a month. Just saying, it's not going to support us. And so
when you say Social Security pays more, that's like, oh yeah.
No, it's true. Yeah. And it's fine. This isn't a cry for money.
No. That wasn't where this was going.
So the point is that if you find yourself in a situation where you have to return home, whether it's financial, whether it's other issues, familial issues, you need to try to maintain those ties, because stuff does happen. Even if you think you're never going to go back,
life happens.
Life happens. And I mean, it's important. It's important to just not burn those bridges and don't break those ties. You may need those people. You may need those acquaintances. You may need that job 5 years from now, you know. So, oh, Bruno, how about that? We wouldn't have done half as much back then if there were cell phones and cameras everywhere. That's true. And as soon as we went out the door, we were off the grid. That is true.
Yeah.
Until the lights came on.
And then
you had to come home.
The things that occurred in the 70s, thank God they got to stay in the 70s for some of us. It just was like,
hey, Bruno wants to know. He says that's not a Maduro.
No, they don't make a Maduro in this particular cigar. All I can get is the natural. So my favorite cigar that 𝗪𝗁 makes is, oh my God, their Maduro. It's a good.
That's the one that has the leaves that are blue. Oh yeah. Oh, if you ever see that video that we did, or we did the tour of 𝗪𝗁, they have a tea that they soak their tobacco leaves in. It smells so good. So good. You could smell the spices in it. It was just incredible.
The opening video that we always do with every one of our videos, that little montage that's there at the beginning, that one of me sniffing the wrapper, folks.
It was good.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was like, wow.
So always give plan B and C, but be flexible. Yes. No plan survives contact with reality. That's right.
You make your plan, you work your plan. As I always say, plan your work your plan, but you cannot be so focused on going with it, because you never know what's coming from here, there, or anywhere. You just got to be up for it.
And Bruno, I appreciate the content you provide. Thanks for the insights you provide with the videos. You're very welcome. And we enjoy doing them, and we enjoy sharing them. And part of it is a way for us to keep up and keep in touch with our friends and our family. And part of it is definitely turned into sharing what we do with all of you. So you can see, sometimes we run into stumbling blocks, and what we learn from those stumbling blocks, we want to share with others so that they don't maybe make the same mistakes we did, or maybe that it helps them navigate some of the things that we've had to deal with.
And quite honestly, you guys would be able to quickly tell, trust me, if the enthusiasm started to wane, you guys would be like, what the hell is wrong with them?
We have actually made a couple videos where I look back and I go, boy, we just sucked the energy out of the room.
Well, I get that. But I
Yeah.
mean, but if we consistently suddenly started going, man, they don't have the energy, there's something wrong. You guys, I mean, we've as viewers of other channels, we have seen it occur where suddenly you go,
you can see the change.
Something ain't right here.
You can see the change in tone.
There's something going on. So
I mean, there's a few stations that to this day, I still wonder where they are and what happened. Why not now?
Rick Rack.
What happened to Rick Rack?
I mean,
there's people that are missing that I actually did like, and where'd they go? What are they doing?
So no, one of the, oh wow, we've come full circle here.
Have we?
Yeah, we're back to the honesty. You guys keep us honest, because if we didn't produce content that was honest, A, to us, and B, to you, you guys would call us out on it. And
sure. And you should. Yeah. Because that was the first thing we said, if we were ever going to do this, that it was always going to be reality, our reality,
our perception of reality,
and it wasn't going to be full of fluff. So
no, and I mean, it's one of the reasons that we did the video after we had to put the boys down, and that was one painful video, and we did it to let you guys know that, okay, hey,
priorities.
We've rethought this, and we went, you know what? Without them around anymore, why were we sticking around? And so we're gone. We're heading to Mexico sooner.
When you have two elderly pets and you know that a trip like that would be too much of a stress on them, you're just kind of waiting, And so once that had happened, we didn't have to wait anymore.
And as I've always said this, it was their final gift to us. Go. Just go.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about my missing boys. Oh, Tom, I saw Gina's command station in person. Nothing. Now says nothing on her. I don't have it set up right now, but typically what I have is I have triple monitors, and they're large monitors. So I have 3 monitors, and then I have the laptop plugged into them, and that's typically how I work. I have one monitor.
And you know what, Tom? That was the last time it was set up, when you saw it.
It was. We haven't set it up since then. I've just been working off the laptop. And sometimes it's frustrating because I'm so used to having all that monitor space to work on, and trying to squeeze everything on a small screen can be a little frustrating when I'm doing the videos, especially. But it's been working out, making it work. It's a lot of work to pull it all out, put it all together, tear it back down. So
but according to all of them, some of your best work has come recently here with the
tiny one,
with the 𝗏𝘂𝗪𝗏 and
All right, Diana, I think it's awesome when someone finds something they enjoy so deeply. Aromas are way up there. Aromas, something I miss very much. Also music, and you are passionate people, and it shows. Aromas, I'm an aroma person. I really, really am. I brought my essential oils with me, and I do use them. I brought my incense. What's this?
2 boxes.
2 boxes
of essential oils.
I have 1 box of essential oils and 1 box of incense and all the incense burners.
And the overflow that you got rid of when you gave it to Romy and Lee's that time.
Yeah, I did get rid of some overflow.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Essential oils, they have shelf life, and after a while, they're not very good anymore. But I do like good smelling things.
And music, don't get us started. I mean,
music, yeah, there's just certain scents. I recently started drinking some teas again, and I got this lovely vanilla chai and, get this, a chocolate mint tea. And I've been making, I bought some whipping cream. So I add a little bit of whipping cream to it, and I make basically a latte. And the smell is so good. And so I am so into the smells, all the good smells, except for the one that he leaves in the bed when I come to bed.
Well, and I can't smell shit. I mean, literally. I mean, we have driven down a highway on the way to the beach in North Carolina before and gone by a turkey farm. And folks, if you've ever driven by a turkey farm, you will remember it. If you haven't, bless you for not having to do that.
I was retching.
And she's like, she's like, can you not smell that? No.
It was so foul. And I'm not trying to do a pun. That's not a pun. It really was foul.
I mean,
it was gross, and he didn't smell it. Oh, well. What happened to Tangerine Travels? Well, the short story, the short version of Tangerine Travels is that Jordan, who always liked dabbling in finance videos during the Tangerine Travels days, decided that he was going to start a financial channel. And he doesn't really want the algorithms from the travel / expat niche to be influencing the success of the financial channel. The niches on YouTube are very specific, and the way their algorithm works to push videos out totally depends on the audiences that they draw. So he didn't want the travel Tangerine Travel people to necessarily be zoning in on his financial channel. And he said this for a while, a while ago, that he was going to start focusing on that. Now, I don't watch his financial channel, so I don't know how often he puts out content. I know that he really, really slowed down on any content with Tangerine Travels, but he said his intention was to just move on to this other thing that he was going to do.
And quite honestly, he settled down in Querétaro.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't traveling as much when he and Mai, when he ditched Maddie and went to Mai, and he paid Maddie off. Maddie started her own, and then Maddie left Mexico and went back to Arizona. And then it was hard to keep producing content that was relevant for people who are traveling to Mexico when you're stagnant in one place.
Right.
And now all of a sudden they've got a kid on the way and everything else. You got the marriage and all of this.
Yeah, he's actually settled down. He's put down his roots.
So
they're having a baby, and he's working on a financial channel, which I don't know the status of that channel because I don't watch it.
And it's one of the things that we sit there and we look at 2+ years down the road going, all right, what's going to happen to us when we finally, you guys are along for the ride and going, well, where the hell are they going to finally end up?
Yeah. And then when we get there,
okay. Then we got 6 months of being there. And after that 6 months,
then what?
Shit.
Well, we'll probably,
now what we get? I mean,
we'll probably take trips to places that we didn't.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I see where he went.
Yeah.
And I see what he is encountering, and I go, it's going to take a mind shift on our part, because this has been, we're 21 months into a 48-month extravagant, tour.
Yeah.
But come month 54, now what are we going to do? I mean, and that's.
And sometimes, as Bruno says, life happens and you decide to do something else. So, well,
We'll get a better idea when we spend the 6 months in Querétaro.
And see, Diana, yes, Why Not Now was good. They were very good.
They were very good.
The only criticism I ever have about their videos is that they would do these walkabouts that were 45 minutes long, and that's a little too long to keep people engaged. But everything that they shared was so helpful, so real. I liked their channel a lot.
I liked it until the last.
Well, I know.
6 weeks of it.
They got really desperate for money at the end, and it changed.
The whole tone just went.
It did.
And
but they never came back. And I tried to contact them. I did a couple of times. I never heard from them. So I don't know what happened to them. And then Rick Rack, and here we go. So yes, Bruno, I did. I tried. I cannot find an email or a social media page for them.
Nope.
So their last video that they put out almost a year ago, I think, I had commented on it 8 months ago.
And guess who was the next commenter?
And they never responded. And so I was like, I'm wondering what's going on with Ricky and Raquel. And I went back again and I found that same video, the last video they put, and I commented on it again.
Her comment was the one right above it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like, it'd been 8-9 months.
I don't know what happened to them. I wish I did. Because
we were actually looking forward to hopefully meeting up with them while we were in the QR, and it just.
We wanted to meet up with them, but we didn't know where they were or how to get in contact with them. So don't know. Hey, good. Hello there. Star Hunter. I am 23. I sold a house. I moved in with my stepdad. I was in foster care. My stepdad is a Republican. I fell sick. Didn't know what I should do in my life. Well, I felt stuck. Well, Starmuncher, I was a foster child, and let me think. In fact, I was an independent when I went to college right out of high school, because when you turn 18 in foster care system, you're out of the system. So I was an adult and on my own when I went to college. And my dorm room was my home. My dorm room was my home, and I had to go to college friends' homes and things like that for breaks and holidays. And so your stepdad is a Republican, and you felt stuck and don't know what you should do in life. Well, you're 23. You're young.
God, that's a tough age.
It is a tough age, but
you're trying to figure so much out in your own life. And the secret really is put the Republican and Democrat shit aside.
Yeah. Don't worry about that part.
Deal with getting through life.
Yeah.
Because it's neither side is going to help you. They do and talk the same crap.
Okay, but we're off that.
And
work on you.
But work on you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was saying with that, they both say the same crap, and none of it is going to assist you in becoming a better person and figuring out how to get your life on track. And that's the secret. The secret to it really is figure out a path. Again, plan your work your plan. Figure out what it is that you want to do, and then figure out how to do it.
How to get there.
Yep.
I mean,
one foot in front of the other. And that's, when
I was 23, what was I doing? Let's see. That's right around the time that I went back to college. I was working minimum wage jobs, whatever it was. I think at the time I might have actually been working at McDonald's, coincidentally. And my husband at the time and I We were struggling financially, and we literally sat on the bed in the bedroom and had a heart-to-heart about which one of us was going to go back to school. One of us had to go back to school. And together we decided that I had a better shot of doing really well because I was a pretty smart student in general. And I went back to school.
Smart cookie.
I went back to school. I graduated at the top of my class, and I got a really good paying job, but it was only part-time. And it was like that for about 4, almost 5 years. But the point is, we were struggling. We were eating the government cheese, the canned pork, and the surplus butter. And we needed a plan. And just like he said, we made a plan. And then we worked that plan. And slowly but surely, that plan got me off of welfare into a hospital paying job, which eventually turned into a full-time job, which eventually turned into a supervisor's job, which eventually turned into an IT job. And here I am today. And so, yeah, that's how you get out of the stepdad's house, if that's what your desire is. You make a plan, and then you work that plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in yourself.
Nobody else will ever believe in you until you do.
Yep. And yes, Diana, those teas are amazing. And I just make a small cup. I put like 2 spoons of sugar in it, and it's just water at this point. 2 spoons of sugar. I pour a little bit of cream in there, and then fill it all up with ice. It is delicious. So good, so good. And Julie, yes, Julie, on their social media page, I want to say it was Facebook, but it could have been Instagram. One of them, probably shared the sonogram image. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. I'm happy for them. So looks like he's settled down. He's going to be a papa.
It's a new route. Go for it. I mean, again, it's plan A, B, and C, and now we're on plan D, and this is the route we're going to take. And okay.
See? So appreciate if you keep us updated after you settle down, not daily, but whenever the feeling hits you.
Oh,
I'm thinking that we probably could still maybe do a weekly video, and we probably would still continue the, every other week on the live.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm thinking once we settle down, then we will have the freedom to just grab a single suitcase and go travel to a city we weren't able to actually
would that
visit.
Be nice?
To be able to just hop on an ADEO bus or just fly somewhere,
I mean, and once we settle down, I mean, then it becomes the whole, okay, folks, we've chosen city X. Now we got to get a house. Now we got to do this.
Yep.
Now we got to navigate this. Now we got to do, I mean,
all those things will be video content.
All that stuff is going to be shared with you guys. So it's not a case of going, we're not going to have anything to do. I'm looking at 6 months after we're there, and I'm going, all right, now we've been here 6 months, and it's going to be, okay. So eventually there's going to be a little bit of a shift, and that's just what it's going to be.
You know what?
Because there's going to be a shift in our lifestyle.
And our channel really isn't always about traveling. It's more about,
oh God, no.
It's more about learning about the community, and you get to see the Airbnb.
I mean, let's be for real.
Our cost of living.
The videos that most people watch are cost of livings and our thoughts on places and everything else. So,
because we're not really, the videos we're making are not really being made in for a visitor. They're being made for someone who is thinking about living there. And so once we settle down, there's still going to be other things, how do we get our utilities turned on? Did we buy furniture? Are we renting furniture? Things like that. That could be interesting.
Oh, there's all sorts of things. And there's so many things that we haven't even thought of that will present themselves. I mean, case in point, Yvette and Arlene, bought their house, and they have an armoire similar to the one that's behind my head right there. Mm-hmm. And I think they spent 300-400 pesos for it. I mean, it was ridiculously low amount and a gorgeous armoire, but they happened to run across it on the side of the road. So these are the types of things that boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Diana, see, I also tried to contact several of the debunked channels. I follow people that have left travel and are now building homes and lives. Yeah, it's still interesting. And
we all learn from the successes and the failures. And if people are, oh my God, we're coming all the way full circle again. If people are honest about it,
honesty,
they're gonna share. You know what? This is what worked, and this was the downfall, or because if they're gonna be honest with you, they're gonna say this was good. This was what didn't work. And it's hard sometimes to stand there and look all of you guys in the eye and go, oops, we screwed up.
Yeah.
I mean,
dealing with people is people, not DNR. You got it, man. You got it. Or just don't box anybody into any group.
Red and blue
or
makes
any category.
It makes no difference.
I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are, or if you even have a religion. I don't care. I don't care where you're from. I don't care. I don't care your gender identity. I don't care. I care about you as a person. I care about what's in here. That's all that matters.
And it all goes back to
when you die the same way.
Yep. and quite honestly, you know what? 95% of the people have the same values.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that you have common topics. You may find a few that you disagree on. And you know what? If you shut up and listen, you may find that, this person has a valid reason for saying what they do. And you may not agree with it. But you know what? It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It means that they have walked a different path in life to realize what they find works for them.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Blue butterfly travels. Yes. We don't know what happened with the sound. None of the mics were working. None of them.
No.
I flipped between all the different mics. It didn't matter. The laptop.
We were getting the big finger.
The big finger. I am working, living, traveling with my adult son. We are both single all over Mexico. We live in a 28-foot RV. Yes, you have got. Ooh. You can give us all a lesson on living in close quarters with somebody. And,
and that's a close quarter where you're suddenly going, all right, hold on. We're on different levels because you got parent, child.
Yep. But yet they're both adults.
They're both adults, but right? I mean, now it becomes, all right, hold on, we've got to deal with giving each other space. Then you got the hard part of when does that relationship go from being parent-child to a peer relationship? I mean, I've got an 84-year-old mother, and we have done that whole,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's my mom, but no. And then now it's okay. I need your opinion on, and so that's a God bless you. That's a tough transition.
And sold everything, gave away almost everything, moved into the RV and took off. 20 months. You know what? Good for you.
And why not?
And why not? Yes. Good job. And I bet you run into, unusual dynamics that you sometimes have to navigate. And when you're spending that much time with each other all day, you probably have these dynamics that you have to navigate, as we were talking about earlier. And even in that type of relationship where we're not talking about, a marriage or any kind of personal sexual type relationship dynamic. We're talking about a mother and a son. And there's dynamics in that as well. You still have to navigate those issues that we discussed earlier. And you still have to have a foundation of trust and honesty, even in that type of dynamic. It doesn't change. It's just a different dynamic, but the foundations that you need are still there, and you're doing it, and you're doing it. So good for you.
The biggest thing in dealing with children, like we talked earlier, you got to be honest. If you lie to your children, guess what? Eventually they're going to figure out that
there's no Santa Claus.
All right, hold on. We aren't going to go quite that far, but I mean, but if you don't tell them the truth, guess what? You're going to get busted eventually.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, so how much of this other crap that you have told me all my life should I now listen to?
See, yes, jobs. I can't tell you how many times I had jobs I hated, and I have done some crappy jobs. I've worked in fast food, Long John Silver's, McDonald's, of course. I've worked as a meat wrapper in a grocery store. I worked as the dessert and salad prep person at a country club. All these jobs paid minimum wage or barely above minimum wage. And they were interesting at first, and eventually I pretty much hated them. It wasn't until I went to school and did something I loved, and that gave me a career. And each level, it might have taken 3 years, 5 years, but each time I made a job change, it was for the better. It wasn't always for better pay. I actually took a pay cut. The first job I had for 4.5 years that I couldn't get full time paid better hourly than the full-time job I took.
But you got full-time hours.
But I got full-time. I got full-time hours. So yeah, I had to work more, and I was making less per hour, but I was getting a bigger paycheck, and I was getting better benefits. So,
and at that particular point in time, which we weren't together at that point.
No.
But at that particular point in time, it's not about how much per hour, it's how much is hitting the bank.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Yeah. So yeah, each one was an elevation in either pay or conditions. And at one point, location, change states. It carries you forward. It's you're building your career.
It's a
step up.
Yep.
It's all about the churros.
Damn Skippy.
Oh, goodness. Once you get your 𝗃𝗏 card, museums, tours, bus fares, airlines are super cheap. We have actually discussed it. He's actually eligible right now.
Hey, I got it. I got it in 𝗃𝗏 for zero.
They didn't
zero.
They didn't require an 𝗃𝗏 card for him. They took one look at him and said, "No, sir, come over here to this window."
That really hurt my feelings.
And 𝗃𝗏 is not cheap to get into, by the way.
No.
So so he actually did get in free that day. But 𝗃𝗏 is a really good benefit to have, and I think he should get it. He's eligible. I'm not. But
the biggest issue we've had with the 𝗃𝗏 it has so far been that we are constantly moving. And I mean, we had this conversation with Mark and Paulette in San Luis Potosí because she was like, yeah, we got it. But then we had to re-register up here in San Luis Potosí because they had moved from Michoacán to San Luis Potosí. And it's like, you know what? We're not flying anywhere. I mean,
we don't take the buses.
We don't take the buses because we got the car. I mean, the savings that we get for the amount of hassle, not hassle, that's probably the amount of time that it would take for us to go and or me to go and do that. Right now, we haven't looked at that and really gone, all right, we're going to realize enough savings to make it work. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. Yes, red and blue make purple. And you know what, Bruno? Purple is my favorite color.
You know what? Everybody just get along.
Yeah, I'm getting SSI and EBT food stamps, but I know how the rent and other is too expensive. It is. No, I feel for you. And now I'm thinking every day that the only way to get a life is again as a passport. Well, you know what? I understand and I can relate. Our youngest daughter especially struggled. She wasn't able to get a job. She graduated. She did well, but she wasn't able to really get a job outside of working for a gas station fast food.
No, she worked at Sheets.
She worked at Sheets in Pennsylvania. And
well,
then
she
one
worked
day,
Sheets in North Carolina, which is out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one day, somebody that she knows told her about this temp agency that would place her with a banking industry. They were doing a merger and they needed some temp people to do data entry. And she worked as a temp for, I think, about 3 years.
No, I think that's about right.
She wasn't making great money. And
it wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible. And then finally, the merged bank made her an offer and hired her. That kid is making
and
more money than I did working in a hospital.
Now we're talking, she went from being, it wasn't bad money to, damn girl.
She's making good money for her age. For some, she's 27, 28. She's 28. She's been out of college for 4 years now. And she is making more money than I made working as a clinical lab scientist in a hospital with 20 years of experience.
Yeah. Now, part of that again is,
and it has nothing to do with her degree.
No,
nothing.
But,
nothing.
But part of that again is the fact that of time. I mean, you go, all right, you know, Bart Starr didn't make as much as Aaron Rodgers because the timing was different. But,
right. She just got lucky.
And she fell into a very good situation. But the moral of the story there is, she busted her butt and did a damn good job for them as a temp. And when it finally came time that the merger was over and everything else, the company was going, oh, crap, we really can't replace her because she knows her stuff and has done all of this, and we need her. And they went, all right. And their offer, she didn't even hesitate because it was like,
no, it was good.
It was like,
I was actually a little bit jealous.
Here's what we're proposing.
But the girl has a degree in media arts and cinematography.
And she's working in the banking
industry. Which is a volatile industry. She could find herself laid off in 3 years, but you never know. In your situation, knowing that you're getting SSI and stuff, I completely understand. It is hard to afford rent. It's hard.
It's a bitch to get out of that cycle. That's the hardest part.
It is.
I mean, it really is one of those where you're like, oh.
And you're thinking about getting the passport and considering living in a foreign land. I totally get that. I understand that.
Here's my question.
With Mexico, though, it's getting hard to qualify for the solvency.
And what are you going to do to pay for it? I mean, that's, you have to have.
Well, he would still get SSI.
Living in Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? I think you get Social Security. It's the same idea.
Okay. Still, eventually you're going to want to get on your own 2 feet. And that requires something that you're going to be able to do, be it, teaching English as a second language, whatever. You're going to need some type of income stream.
Some kind of online.
Yep.
I would start looking at.
It could be customer service, because there's a lot of customer service jobs. You can work anywhere.
I would start looking at potentially some kind of remote work opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I can't give you a list because I always like to look too, but my job is so technically siloed. I have a very specific niche that I have to work in. So these sites don't really help me. Although if I don't get another contract pretty soon, I'll probably start looking at some of these sites. But there are remote work sites that offer potential opportunities, and it may not pay great, but it will be enough for you to live off of here. So
start learning your Spanish.
Start learning. Well,
I mean, if this is something you're thinking about wanting to do, start learning it, because you're still young at 23. trust me.
Yeah.
The longer you put it off, the harder it becomes.
Yeah. But as far as the income revenue, I would start looking there. Start looking and seeing if there's something you can do like that, like data entry. I mean, I don't know what your skill set
Customer
is.
service.
If you have one, customer service, call center stuff, things like that. Of course, I hate being on the phone, so I would avoid stuff like that, like plague. But data entry would be good. I wish I could give you the sites. I don't know them, so. But check that out, and that's a good place to get going. Oh yeah, you missed some things there. You missed some things. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we dropped all the different.
We actually created 3 events because it was.
Oh God, yeah. But we had 6 different bullet points that we talked about on the relationship part.
Oh, so he's up in the overhead and you're in the back. Oh goodness, but you got all that space between you. Wonder if I should get a passport and if that would be a way out, but I can't just go live in another country, or could I? Well, what you have to do is you have to meet solvency requirements, and that's going to be your biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
And so solvency means that they have a minimum amount of income that you can prove that you have had for 6 months to a year, depending on what country you're looking at. And you have to show that if they allow you to live in that country, that you will not be a burden to that country, so you can support yourself. I think that your SSI would be treated just like Social Security is, and that is your income. And so you would have a letter saying, or something, a statement, maybe your payments, that you've had this for this many times of the year, this payment. And that's what your income for the solvency requirement would be. The problem is a place like Mexico right now, the solvency requirements are quite high compared to where they were 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But there are other countries. But then you got to take into consideration, how are you going to get there? Where are you going to live? And do you need to learn another language? You could potentially live in Belize. The language for Belize is English.
Yep.
But
Belize, the reason we briefly looked at Belize, and there's a part of northern Belize that is very affluent.
Yeah.
Very affluent, which means expensive. The rest of Belize is affordable, but the crime rates made us cringe hard. So,
yeah,
it's one of those. There are ways of doing it, of getting in the country, and in doing that, you could do the 180-day runs to the border, but that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get back in.
Right. I mean, there's ways to do it.
Naturally, there's regularization, but we don't know when that's going to end. I mean, it's
for sure. Tom, you're on the Jersey Shore for the summer. Joyzy. Haven't been there since you haven't been to Mexico since you saw us. November. Okay, so in November, we should be in. Depending on when in November.
The first week of November, we will be in Oaxaca, because we are definitely in Oaxaca City for Dia de los Muertos, because we were not going to miss that in Oaxaca.
No way.
Because everybody's like, if you're going to do Dia de los Muertos, you got to do it in Oaxaca. And so we're staying there. And then the weekend after Dia de los Muertos, we will be going to Puebla.
We'll be in Puebla.
So for the majority of the month, we will actually be in Puebla.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We got a really cool industrial loft
and
place.
Yeah, you can walk around, scratch, fart, do all the rest of the stuff. We have a queen bed in the other, so just letting you know, bud.
You can come stay with us. Yeah. And I was reading all your comments, Blue Butterfly Travels. Yes, trust is paramount. And I can see that you said your son's 45 and Santa was gone long ago. So It's great, right? And Star, wonder if I can move to another country by getting a passport, but I don't even know how because I'm horrible with money. Oh no, honey. You really have to be good with your money because the money that you make, whether it's your SSI or even if you're doing remote work, if you're getting paid in US dollars, it fluctuates with the currency exchange. And so sometimes $100 isn't $100. Sometimes it's more than 100, and sometimes it's 80.
Biggest thing is, and I learned this from her because I didn't learn it from my mom, and my mom tried to teach me. Create a budget online and follow the budget.
I do a budget,
and that's what you got to do. You got to just have that in front of you, and put everything in the budget.
Yep.
And you will suddenly start going, you know what? I'm spending way too damn much on this or this. You know, if making ends meet is tough, when you start putting everything down in black and white and you can look at it, you'll suddenly go, you know what? That $3.99 purchase that I'm making 5 times a month, when you see it in black and white, you go, oh, that's $20. Well, that's $20 I could have had to do something else with. So put everything down, create a budget, create the spreadsheet, and put everything on that.
Yes. No matter what the day job, always working a side gig will help lead you to self-employment. That is absolutely true. Side hustles. You want to talk about the masters of the side hustle? Welcome to Mexico.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't matter. We watch this kid. I swear to God, I think he goes into the 𝗧𝘂𝗃 and he buys a bag of lollipops. And then he stands outside the door of the 𝗧𝘂𝗃 and tries to sell everybody a lollipop.
Yep.
I mean, that's a hustle. He's trying to make some money. Or they'll just try to help you, assist you with your groceries and unload your cart, take your cart back, and whatever.
Whatever it
takes to make some money. Side hustles are here everywhere, for sure. And we had somebody bag our groceries. There was a team. Typically in Mexico, the seniors, especially, are working to bag your groceries for tips. Well, this last visit, it was 2 younger people, and they were employees,
and they were 𝗧𝘂𝗃 employees,
which was a shock.
And so Gina held out the money, and they went.
They didn't want the money.
And then she looked down, and there was a donation box down there, and so she just dropped it in there. And our understanding or our take on it was that this was for the rest of the 𝗃𝗃 employees, the seniors,
the people who work for
employees, because they're not employees, but this was to help them who were working up and down because they didn't have enough. And then we've been in supermercados before where there's been more than enough, and they actually are sitting there and they sort of rotate and come up as somebody is checking out. Well, they had more lines open than they had people bagging the groceries. And so they looked down and it was like, oh, okay, we'll just drop it right
We'll
here.
just leave it here and they'll give it to them later.
Yep.
So Paulette is very, very big on the 𝗃𝗃 card because Paulette and Mark are stationary. And they do like to travel, so they take the bus.
They take the bus
and they get a discount when they take the bus. They also get a discount when they go to the museums in the area or anywhere really. So yeah, because they're stationary and because they're both on retired income for the most part, they save money that way. And she's really big about saving the money, and I don't blame them. So
nothing wrong with that.
If it's available and you can take advantage of it. And it works for them because they do use it enough. And let's see. I wouldn't expect that a change of scenery would equate to a positive change.
The biggest change has to come there. That's the whole thing.
It's a matter of working out what's happening at home and then deciding if you're able to take
and
that elsewhere.
And it's not easy. I mean, it's a long road, and
Yeah.
the hardest part is that you have to believe in you. You know, if you believe in you, other people believe in you. If you have doubts, they have doubts, because having hired people and fired people and everything else, the biggest thing is you can tell the people who have the belief in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who believe in themselves, those are the people I want to work for me, because you know what? They may not always agree with me. Full circle, right back to where we started. They're going to be honest with me.
Yep.
And the people that are going to be honest with me because they believe in themselves, those are the people I want that would work for me.
Yep.
Because I may not agree with what they're going to tell me, but they're going to be honest with me. And so be honest, but believe in yourself, because nobody else will ever believe in you until you believe in you.
That is true. Good advice coming from the man over here. And Blue Butterfly, take 2 to 3 times as much work to pay bills. Yep. You had to get the repairs on the RV and everything. Yeah. You know, getting started, that's hard. It's hard. And that was a big venture.
And it's even harder when you're in your 60s, I can tell you.
Oh, Diana, this is really good information. Thank you, because I don't know this because I don't get it. SSI will only pay younger than that retired people north of the border. Younger.
I think what you're trying to say is that if you go south of the border, that may cut off.
So SSI may not work outside of the United States, I think is what we're trying to say here.
Now, my initial thought process is you keep a U.S. bank account, but I'm just...
Yeah, well... yeah. We should not give advice on things we really don't know anything about. So we don't like to do that. And 𝗪𝗵𝘁, you're absolutely right. A lot of the consulates will not see you unless you live in their states. A lot of that
has been coming upon more and more recently, that as especially like McAllen, who is notorious for being the lowest priced as far as solvency.
Not anymore.
You know, but they were, and so they were getting overrun, and they went, no, we're going to raise our prices up to here, and we're only seeing people in the state of Texas.
No, I know that the one we went to, Kansas City, they will see Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma residents. But even then, that's it. Just those 3 states.
Now, we got in early.
Well, yeah. But they may not have a consulate in Oklahoma. I mean, I don't know. That might be why. So, and it makes sense to be Missouri and Kansas because it's right there.
No, it's...
And Curiosity RV, good suggestion. And 𝗃𝘅𝗽𝗲 have resources for online gig work. Okay. I can see Jose having a list of resources for online work. I have a note here somewhere. I don't have it open right now. I had copied and pasted like 16, maybe not 16, maybe 12 different sites at one point that I could investigate. But often because of the type of work that I'm used to doing, I don't really find what I do at those places. But I might have to start changing the way I think. I may have to start doing something different because the contracts haven't been coming for what I do. So speaking of relationships, have either of you heard info on what it's like dating as an expat in Mexico? Well,
I think the only place we could really go that we have heard anything would probably be Maddie.
Maddie dated some people. Yeah, I don't know what Maddie's like as a person.
No, I'm just saying that.
But my impression of men in Mexico is there is a very machismo culture.
Well, it's a patriarchal society.
Yeah, it is. And I come from an Italian-American family that also is somewhat patriarchal. You know, like the grandpa who had the Goomba for 25 years before my grandma died and then he finally married her, that kind of thing. And there are some things in some cultures that you just accept for what they are.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people have an issue with that. You may find a great guy here and you might want to date that guy and everything might be great, but that guy might be stepping out on you, every other day, night of the week. The question in your heart is, does that matter to you? Does it matter to you? If he's treating you like a queen when he's with you and he truly loves you, but he's doing this other thing on the side, does that matter to you? And I think that for Maddie, that mattered. And so she did have some issues with some people that she dated who were nationals. I haven't heard a whole lot about expats dating expats. I would think that you would have some things in common with each other because of the situation that you're in. Sometimes having things in common with each other doesn't make you a great match either. You can have things in common and it still not be a good match.
Well, and I think that you also have to take in consideration scenarios like we encountered in 𝗓𝘂𝗪, where that particular culture, it was very accepted that
the men are going to step out.
Yeah. And so I think that a lot of it depends on where you're at, because I think that in some parts of Mexico, that is the accepted belief.
I'm a pretty open-minded person, and my feeling is if the person I'm with treats me well and is honest, that's just it, is honest and doesn't try to hide it or lie about it, is upfront about it, and you're accepting of it, then you could probably deal with that. Mexican machismo. The women.
I don't know if I'm really ready to go there, but yeah, okay.
I'm just saying.
No, I understand. No, I understand what you're saying, but
and then it seems like the women are also used to that, and they're very accepting of that. So if in a Caucasian, or could be person of color, it could be anybody, somebody who's not a Mexican national, a man,
a gringo
like Jordan, were to date a Mexican national, which, by the way, in Mexico, you've got a lot of other intricacies that you're dealing with here too, because we're not just talking about machismo. Now we're talking about class. And this is a very class-based society.
True.
It's been like that since before the caste wars. And so the classes are very delineated.
Mm-hmm.
The more indigenous you are, the lower you are in the rankings, and the more European you are, the higher you are in the rankings. It's unfortunate, but
it's reality.
But it is reality. So, that's also going to be into play. So, you got someone like Jordan who gets involved with someone like Mai, and the relationship works out well for them, and they get together and they get married. But would Jordan have been able to successfully date a Mayan woman? I mean, I don't know. Would he? I don't know. There's so much more. It's not an easy blanket, black and white, concept, something to discuss. I think it's more about, as long as you understand what the culture's like, as long as the person you're with is honest with you about what they are doing with or without you.
Oh, we were going 360 again.
You can make it work. It's all about the honesty. We don't know anyone personally who's been dating outside of 𝗧𝘂. He was the only one that we've met that was dating.
Love 𝗧𝘂, and we're not going to tell that story, but that's all right.
No. But I'm just saying.
No, I know.
We just don't really know anybody who's been dating. And honestly, 𝗧𝘂 is, his family's from 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗃, even though he was, living in the U.S. I think he was born in the U.S.
I think that is correct.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm so sorry. We really don't know from a personal point what it's like to date in Mexico. And we're not of the dating age. And if we were going to date, chances are we probably would end up dating another gringo, I would say.
Gotta hope out and find out. I mean,
well, no, we're of the age that we're not out there dating anyway.
The only way I end up dating is if you died, and I don't want that to happen. So, okay.
Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. I'm so sorry. I think I just wasted like 5 minutes talking about stuff in circles. Ernie or someone addressed the issue of getting SSI in another country. I'm pretty sure they don't pay it.
Yeah.
So, okay. I didn't know. Thank you. Thank you also, Tom, for straightening that out. Because I certainly would hate to tell somebody to just come to Mexico, you get your SSI. The thing with SSI is you always have to prove that you're disabled in some way to get it. And if they check up on you, yeah. No, you don't have to prove solvency in Mexico if you meet some requirements like having travel.
Right.
Yes.
But
yes. If they're still doing it.
But here's the problem
Yeah.
with that particular statement and the case we were discussing is
Right.
he didn't even have a passport. So that means he does not have any previous stamps in his passport.
Right.
So regularización is going to be very difficult. So
and regularización has actually been getting phased out pretty much over the last few years.
They keep limiting the number and
there's only the number of places doing it.
Yeah, the number of INMs that are still.
And some of those INMs are now requiring that they send the information to Mexico City to be reviewed. So it feels like they've been saying this for the last couple of years that they were going to phase it out and that it was only there because of COVID. But this time it really does feel like they're pushing to maybe actually phase it out finally. So I'm glad he's getting it. We actually met some people who got it in Progresso, and they got the full 4 years of temporary residency. And
for about the same price we paid for 3 years of renewal.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah, and Progresso was still processing them.
Progresso was at the time. At the time.
That was around December.
No.
Yeah. So easier to get residency in Ecuador, I hear. Tom will know. Ecuador used to be $800 a month. Now I think it's $1,200. Yeah.
That's still pretty cheap. Yep. Just like Tom said.
We do the runs right now. We don't even leave the country. We stop at the airport kiosk after, say a few days in an Airbnb. Okay.
Yep. No, there are ways of doing it.
Yep.
And there's, ways there's always ways of gaming a system. And as long as you are prepared to know that at any point you may lose that at that game, you're good. But just know in fact that all it takes is one INM agent to go, oh, I'm seeing a pattern here. No. And
it can happen within the law. It could happen. They could deny it.
The odds of it occurring are probably infinitesimal, but just know that could bite. I mean,
the border runs have been working for a lot of people for a long time. So, bug spray for Oaxaca. I have a can of Bygone, and I love Bygone. Bygone is the best. It smells good and it kills on contact. I love it.
They're not bad here in Huatulco. I will say, for me anyway.
They haven't been bad.
I mean,
but Oaxaca.
She's the one they get more than they get me. So, if I'm the only one outside.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking along the lines of ants and cockroaches and things like that.
I'm just pointing out the other option.
I'm not spraying Bygone in the air on mosquitoes.
No, I get that.
Let's see. Yes, the exchange rate's been pretty good lately.
Yep.
I don't know where it's going to go. Puebla has the largest German population in Mexico. All right.
Well, yeah, but we're going to be there in November.
We're not going to be there till November. Yeah. We're going to be in.
Well, now it does not mean that we cannot make our own Oktoberfest. I
know. Miguel, best live you guys have done. Totally relate. 5 years retired in Mexico. Oh, thank you, Miguel. Thank you. Well, this was a really good suggestion, and it was a great idea. And it's something that I think people need to talk about and discuss. Relationships are important. Whether it's between you living together or the people that you surround yourself with. You don't get through life without having some kind of relationships.
No. I mean, if you're going to try and make life on your own throughout it, you are alone. And that's the hardest part.
Yes, Maddie has gone silent. I think she pretty much said that, once she got back to Arizona, she didn't know what was going to happen with the channel, but unless she was going to music festivals or something, I think she was done with it. It's probably good. It's probably a good healing period for her.
Folks, let me explain this part to you, because if you haven't done a YouTube channel, it's work. It really is.
And if she's got a job and she's working,
and that part is something that is one of those you sort of sit there and go, these people keep doing this, they do this, and it shows up every week. Gina busts her ass every week to make sure that there's content that drops. And it takes two of us, because a lot of times it's I'm stuck. I'm on this, I'm on that, what do we need to do here? What do we need to do there? And she is the engine. And every once in a while, I'm the one that'll feed a little piece of coal in there and go, okay, how about if we do this? Oh, God, that's a good idea. Okay, let's do this. But it takes work to create this. And being by yourself, trying to create content for a channel and living in the U.S., God bless her. I mean, it's tough. It really is. And, it's one of those where you really have to sit there and go, is she able to make enough off of creating the content to justify what it is that she's actually getting in return? And it might be the fact totally that she is finally gone, you know what?
This was fun.
We had a great run, and don't know, and again, I don't know the specifics. So,
all right. Let's see. Jenny says, it's terrible dating everywhere. Oh, I finally found someone. People don't know how to make plans. Has been the main issue.
But hold on. She found somebody. So it is doable. I mean, and I get what Jenny's saying. And Jenny's been around with us for a long time. A long time. And so that's one of those you sort of got to go, okay, perseverance can pay off.
Are you talking about in Mexico, Jenny? Because I could kind of relate with that understanding, because appointments in general are not really a thing in Mexico. Not really a thing. I mean, you go to a doctor appointment or something like that, sure. But the timeline, I'm going to be there in the morning at 9 to hook up your cable. And then they show up maybe that afternoon, maybe the next day. I'm still waiting on a package that has been in limbo for 2 weeks with no update. The people who sent me the package, they haven't heard back from the delivery company either. 2 weeks, guys. Radio silence from the delivery company for 2 weeks. So that's just kind of the way it is here. So I wonder if that's what you mean. If that's what you mean, Jenny, about not knowing how to make plans. If that's where that is, let me know if that's what you mean. Because I think that might be it. Trish is a good example of a girl from Iowa married to a very handsome Mexican. Diego. Yes, Diego is so funny too. So funny. I never really understand. I don't really know why Trish goes back to Iowa as often as she does. I know she's got family there, but she makes those trips pretty regularly. So I wonder if there's like a business reason as well. But yeah, Diego's great.
Or family reason.
Yeah, Diego's great. And yes, Jordan got married in Mexico.
Yep.
And he and Mai are expecting their baby. So that's great. And Diana, your husband's Mexican. Awesome.
That made all of the consulate visits a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Tom, even though I had my permanent residency for a couple years now, I still enjoy watching videos, Mexico Relocation Guide, etc., about the process, the changes in the process, and facilitator. Yeah. And the processes do change fairly regularly.
And we cannot underscore anymore the fact that Mexico Relocation Guide, thumbs up. That is.
Oh yeah, I guess I should show that, huh?
That is a almost must have. I mean, it's
boom.
If you're thinking about moving to Mexico, that's a Bible.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good information. It's a chunk of change up front. I think it's about $500 now, but it is lifetime access. It's online access, and it's always updated. That's what makes it the most valuable, is that it is constantly updated. The information is not out of date.
Nope.
She works really hard to get consulates, updated solvency requirements and the information like McAllen, for example, no longer accepting anyone outside of Texas. And she comes up with really good information for contacts for facilitators and insurance agents and just on and on and on.
And the thing is the things that you may have thought of, trust me, there's 3 times that number.
Yeah.
That you haven't thought of. And they're there and you suddenly go, oh, God, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Names of lawyers, names of real estate agents, names. I mean, the list just keeps going and you just start going, wow, okay.
But I'm also going to put this in the chat because I know you guys can't copy what we're showing on the screen. So I'll stick it in the chat as well so that you can copy and paste it or follow it if you wish. And you're interested in checking that out. I know I missed somebody. Oh gosh. Here we go. They're still doing R&E. I hope I didn't.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think that's where we're at. So yes, some people are still doing it. Let's see if that shows that. Oh, so what's going too stressed? I'd rather be single. It can be very stressful, but if you find the right person, it's not that stressful. But yes,
no,
it can be. But
the thought of being without her, nah, nope, no way, no shape, no how.
And Jesse, here we go. I date women, and the lesbian dating world is chaotic enough here that I prefer being single. My retirement plans are to open a computer game company. Okay, hey, sounds more fun than dating. Whatever works for you, Jesse.
Need a programmer?
I could do data entry.
No. Hey, Jesse, guess what? It don't matter. Lesbian, gay, straight. The thought of being out there and trying to date nowadays, I look at it and go, bless all of you. I don't know if I could deal with what it is, the way it is right now. It's like, no, thank you. I'm glad I'm where I'm at.
And they're doing regularization in Oaxaca, but our first 3 FMMs did not show up in their computer system. Well, now that's interesting. Wonder why.
That would suck.
Yeah, it would. Oh, see. Everyone's saying the I&M computer system had an upgrade and lots of people's info was lost. No matter we had receipts and stamps. Well, I would think if the computer isn't working and you've got them in your books
you
or
got
something.
Stamps, you would think that would solve the problem.
I mostly dress a casual guy that I am. Boom. We like it like that.
Hey.
Just be yourself, man.
That's retired life.
Dengue is a thing here. Oh, yes, it is. Our family in 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗪, the guy got dengue right after we left. And I was really cognizant when we were in Mérida because he had gotten dengue. And we're in Mérida after that.
And then all of a sudden we started getting
we had a little
things
fountain.
that were not quite normal.
Well, we had a fountain that was stagnant. And I looked at that fountain one day and I saw mosquito larvae.
That was Mérida.
I said Mérida, didn't I?
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, we went from.
Yeah, but okay. So the fountain in Mérida had mosquito larvae in it, and I just put some dish soap in there, and it knocked them out. I started being a whole lot more cautious and watching for stuff like that, because I don't want to get it. I know you can get some kind of like immunization for it each season or something, but yeah. And yes, the mosquitoes are bad for me too. They really are. And when I get bit, I get welts, huge welts. And how are the beaches in Huatuco? Well,
we've only been to one.
We've only been to one, and that is Santa Cruz.
Yep.
And it was very clean. The water was nice. It wasn't dirty, like cloudy. I don't mean dirty, but it wasn't like super cloudy.
No.
Pretty clear water. But that's the only one we've been to so far. I wanted to get us up to speed and advance with enough videos that are scheduled to drop so that I could take a deep breath and have time for us to explore.
We're getting close to there.
We're probably going to do that this week, and next week we'll do a lot more exploring. Not sure how we're doing it. I don't know if we want to just get in the car and just drive to the different beaches, or if we want to hire somebody to take us on like a 6-beach boat tour. But I want to do some snorkeling. I got a dive case for one of my cameras, so I would like to do some snorkeling. That's about it so far.
Don't look at me, because my ass will be on the boat.
He doesn't really do beaches, and we're not beach people, but we did go to Santa Cruz. And we just walked over there, and I ended up getting a shrimp cocktail and a Coca Loca drink. Oh, and I got shrimp cocktail on my white shirt.
And
I walked right out into the ocean and washed it right out of my shirt, and it was gone. Gotta love that ocean water. Takes care of that. Puebla. Let's see. Why is this thing doing weird things?
I do not know.
Okay. Puebla and Cholula are awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
There is actually kind of disappointed in this. There is a piece of property with an hacienda. It's close to Puebla. And, excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. There's I forget what it's called, but they call it like something castle. And it was originally built by, I think, an Englishman.
Yep.
And we reserved a weekend at the attached hacienda. And then about 3-4 weeks ago, they canceled the reservation. The contract that they had with the hotel company, the hotel company didn't renew. So the people that own the property or lease it out to this hotel company said, well, you had this much time to renew your contract. You didn't do it. We're canceling the contract. And then the next thing you know, our reservations are canceled. But we can still drive there for the day.
And it's not that far from where we're at. So we still probably would do the drive over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and just check it out.
30-minute drive and we get to see the grounds. We just won't be staying there. So,
but I did find another hacienda and I bookmarked it.
Yeah.
That we might want to go stay at. I thought it'd be cool to do stuff like that. I'm really excited about the Airbnb that we got. Well, it's not an Airbnb.
It's not Airbnb.
It is, but it isn't. It was also on Vrbo, and we got it on Vrbo, but he has it listed both places. Oh, wait. What's up? We're going to do a real channel, and I just don't have the time. Yeah, it is time consuming, guys. It really is. It seems like it's not, but let me just explain the process. I could start out with about an hour to an hour and a half of video clips.
Easily.
And I put them all in order. And then I have to decide, I want to try to keep the video less than 30 minutes. I really try to shoot for 20. So then I have to decide how much of this am I keeping and how much am I chopping out. And I try to get it cut down. Then I have to link things all together logically. Are we going to talk in the video? Are we going to do voiceover? Are we just going to do us and then I drop little videos on top of us while we're talking? Then after I get all that put together, I look for music. The music could take hours because I know what I want. I know the sound I'm trying to get. I've got memberships to like 5 different music sites for royalty-free music. And I just go through and I listen. I listen to clips, clip after clip after clip. And then I find the music. Now I got to fit the music in. Sometimes I have to edit the music. Sometimes I have to chop it in places and splice it together and move things around. So then there's that. Then I have to drop in all the little clicky buttons and things, you know, subscribe, or here's our little socials, and all the little sound effects, all the pops, the clicks, the whooshes, the rushes, all that stuff has to be dropped in. Then when I'm done with all that, transitions. So it looks nice and smooth. Then I get that done. Then when that's all done, okay, and if I have the video edited that it changes to the beat of the music or whatever, then I have to render it. Then I have to do the subtitles. I have to watch the video sometimes twice and make sure that all the words that came up as a subtitle are correct, spelled right, punctuation, everything. Then I upload it. It could take minutes. It could take hours to upload. When I upload it, I then have to put tags. I have to put the subtitles again. After all that's in there and YouTube does all their checks and tells me whether I have copyright strikes and all this other jazz that I may have to challenge because I do pay for sites that allow me to use this music, then I have to go in and translate. Right now, I was doing a lot, but I cut back. I'm doing 16 languages. If I see that people from different countries are watching the video, I translate it into their language. So now I have to translate all the subtitles and all the title and descriptions. Now the video's done. It could take me a week sometimes to do a video. Sometimes it doesn't take a week. If he's just sitting down and talking for 10 minutes, that's like maybe a day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Haven't done one of those in a while.
And that's why a lot of these people, they just stop. They just quit doing the videos. They're like, is the juice worth the squeeze kind of thing. That's what we like to say. So, but I enjoy doing them. It's just that it does take time. And when I work, that gets to be difficult. So the beaches are in the 90s, even in December and January. Water temp is 85. Yeah, it's hotter than the Yucatan. You know what, honey, you don't have to tell us how hot it is here. Oh
It's
my
warm.
gosh, it is so hot. I'll try to put some makeup on. It's not too bad today. It's blended pretty good. But I noticed the last couple of videos that I did, my makeup looks horrible. Well, it looks horrible because I'll stand in this bathroom and I'll try to put makeup on and my face is sweating while I'm putting the makeup on. And it doesn't matter how much powder I put on. No, it's sweating. I'll like have beads of sweat on my face as I'm trying to put on my makeup, and it's ridiculous. Sweat's running down my back. My hair's wet all the time. It's hot here. It's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot. This is about as hot as any place we have been.
No.
No?
It's hotter.
Oh, well, it's hotter. It's hot here.
It's hot.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the people that go, you know, 𝗪𝗪𝗁 is the place for us. More power to them.
Yeah, yeah. But we are going to get together with Cindy and Fred, you know, the first lady of 𝗪𝗪𝗁 eventually here. And that's one of the things I'm going to ask her. I honestly, I'm going to ask her, how does she deal with the humidity and stuff here? Because it is so hot, so hot. I
mean, we're in the latter stages of the worst part of the year, but it's hot.
Yeah. Tom, I'm thinking about renting the same Airbnb in 𝗂𝘂 where I did my permanent residency to get my RFC number and driver's license. Do eventually want to get those things done, like you both, wherever you settle. Yes.
Eventually.
Yes.
2.5 years from now.
Good deal. Oh, okay. Blue Butterfly, have a good evening. Thank you for coming tonight and hanging on here. Dolphys, have you checked out this channel, Touch of Light Homestead in Mexico, A Simple Life in Mexico? No, have not checked that out. Let me make a note of it because I try to. I just don't always have time to watch as much as I want, and I'm getting very behind on some of my favorite YouTubers. Sometimes I binge, and then I'm like, I comment on all their videos they've made for the last 4 weeks. Oh, where did Mark get that? Hey, Mark, where'd you get that shirt that you're wearing?
Where did I get this shirt?
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
That's a thank you, Dad.
Oh, your dad's. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of my dad's. It's a 𝗂𝘂𝗪𝗲. It suddenly just get really soft on us. My eyes are like, ooh.
Yeah, you got up and you moved.
I know.
And you walked around behind us and you made things change.
Yeah, this is a 𝗂𝘂𝗪𝗲 that
It is not.
it's keeping it very soft.
I know.
That my dad had, and I've got about, I don't know,
There we go.
6 or 7 shirts that I kept when I got the opportunity to go through his closet when he died, and this is one of them. So, yeah, it's a little big, but you know what? It'll never go away.
It's his dad's. So.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's one of those that I can put it on. I can feel the hug from him going, "Hey, bud, love you." You know,
Aww. Awesome. So, Tom, you're going to snorkel with me. Woo! Woo! That's right. I love to do that.
And I'm the keeper of the shit. Yeah.
I love to snorkel. I cannot wait to use the dive case on the camera. I'm excited. Sounds like live streams are a lot easier. They are, Bruno, because we just sit here and talk. It's true. They are easier. But then, of course, then we run into these technical difficulties, which lately it seems like every time it's something.
Well, the live streams are easier, especially, you know, I remember when we were first starting out and we would watch country collectors and they do a live stream and we would sit there and just go, how much money are people throwing at them? And I mean, and this is not any way, shape, or form hit us up for money. No, but we would sit there and go, they just made $1,200 in the last hour on people throwing money at them. And it was like, holy crap. So yeah, we were like, live streams, but it's easier. And the reason it's easier, it's like having a conversation with you guys.
Yeah.
And that's the part.
And we get to interact with you as you ask questions.
That's the part.
That's the best part.
That's the part we love is that,
it's not an income revenue. And I'll be honest, YouTube keeps half the money anyway.
Yeah.
So we always were like, you know what? Don't use YouTube. Don't do that.
We didn't realize that at the time.
Don't do that because you're giving half of your money to YouTube. Just don't even do it.
Yeah, that wasn't the whole point of it, but it was like, wow, they're just rolling in this.
What do you think about AI YouTubers? Do you guys feel like it's a lazy way to make a video? Well, no, I think it depends on the content. I think it depends on what it is they're making.
I'm the wrong person to answer that anyway.
No,
I am.
No, I mean, there's people who actually do sit and they make a video and maybe they're talking about, I don't know. When you hear people doing AI voices, and you can almost always pick out the AI voices, I often wonder how many people are actually working to make that video. Is it just one person? And, they found a niche that gets a lot of clicks and they're probably making good money. Are they lazy? I don't know.
Some of them are working their ass off.
Depending on what the niche is and what type of content they're providing, maybe they're just really smart.
There is that.
But if you're doing a video kind of like the niche that we're in, AI just wouldn't work. And AI would feel very disingenuous. And I wouldn't trust a travel channel that does AI
now
at all.
Now,
I wouldn't.
In full disclosure, we have used AI to help create some thumbnails. And we have used AI to help create some titles
and descriptions occasionally.
Yeah. I mean, normally it's us, but every once in a while, it's sort of like, oh crap. And she'll toss this out to AI and suddenly it's like, holy crap.
Wow, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Now I think if the content can be done with AI and they're not producing something fake and passing it off as otherwise, I'm okay with it.
No, if they're honest and go, this was AI generated, go for it. Yeah. But if you're going to tell me that you're going to toss Robert Plant's voice and create a new Led Zeppelin song, I'm going to be going, no. I'm just.
Yeah. And is Cindy the person who writes books for a living? I don't know. I don't know if she writes books. Does she? Do you know?
I do not know. All I know is that
Cindy is when she says she's talking to you about Huatuco. That's kind of how she says it.
Well,
Huatuco.
Which Cindy are we talking about? Our Cindy that's a father?
Well, I mentioned Cindy and Fred, so my assumption is
I'm
Cindy. I don't really know if she writes books, though. I never looked that far. I just know that she was a retired senior person who has lived around, at least in the Gulf area, for many, many years. And I knew she had a son.
You're married a Mexican national, if I remember correctly.
I think so. And she's just always lived around Huatuco. And she was one of the first people that I watched on YouTube that showed a breakdown of her budget.
Yep.
Her income and her expenses. I don't always watch all of her videos. A lot of times she might show houses for rent, things like that. She's got different revenue streams. I think now she's offering consult type services, things like that. But mostly I've just seen her videos about living around Huatuco. And I thought since we're here, it'd be a good idea to see if she might want to do some kind of collaborative thing, or maybe just meet her, So,
whichever.
We did some talking on WhatsApp and stuff. And when she gets back from her trip with family, we're supposed to get together. Diana, AI voices can be good, but most are not. That's right. They are not, most of them. There is one that sounds like David Letterman. Have you guys seen now that they've got it that you can have celebrities read to you? Like you just scan your book, whatever it is, homework, you can get Snoop Dogg to read your math book to you. Like, I don't know. I know. Oh, like what? Life in Huatuco with Cindy and Fred. That's right. That's right.
And that was an interesting channel that sort of just disappeared because we still haven't figured out quite why.
Her original channel, her original channel vanished one day. And last I heard is there was a misunderstanding with YouTube. And they launched a new one, which is the one that's up now. I don't know. I may ask her about it because I've always been curious where her channel went. It was just gone one day. And then a new one came back. And then she started re-uploading all of her old videos onto the new channel. So I don't know. Misunderstanding. So I heard about it.
God, I hope to God we never have to deal with that misunderstanding because that would suck.
I have all of our videos.
I know you do, but it'd be like, oh.
Okay. Guys, it has been, oh my goodness. Well,
4 hours.
We did start late, about almost a half hour late. Are you guys going to Guadalajara? I'm looking for a place near a major airport. I don't believe, let me look real quick. I don't believe we had Guadalajara.
We did.
No, we do. We do.
Yeah.
We're going to spend 1 month. We'll be 1 month in Guadalajara. It'll be over a winter time situation. I'm not sure what's going to happen there just yet since it's so far out yet. But yeah.
No, the plan is we were going to definitely do Guadalajara, and that's one of those that we went. Okay, Guadalajara offers so much of a cultural, and it also is the biggest city that we wanted to go and spend a month or more in.
Yeah.
Because Mexico City, no, we didn't want to have to deal with having to drive there. And right now we got a car, so we would have to drive. So then are we on the right day of the whole thing was no, Mexico City was out. Guadalajara didn't have that. So it was like, okay, we can go to Guadalajara. The other top 3 cities, Monterrey. We spent a little time in Monterrey, but we knew we weren't going to be that far high north in the country. So Guadalajara is the biggest city that we went, yeah, we're going to spend some time, a month there in Guadalajara just to see. So, but we're also going to be on the backside of that airport because you could just drive around the mountain and you're in the Lake 𝗃𝗃𝗃 area.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and we'll be in that area too. So we're going to check them both out since we're going to be in that region for sure. And we have been to both Querétaro and San Luis Potosí.
Yes,
we like them both.
And both of them are still ranking very high.
Yeah.
Out of without going much deeper, both of them are going to be still in the top 5.
Yeah. All right. And there you go. 𝗲𝘂𝗪 shirts are great. And yes, that's a great one. So nice that it was your dad's.
Yep.
Living in other countries, our wardrobe changes over time. Cindy said she was a stewardess with Brand Affair. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that.
Brand Affair, for those of you who aren't familiar or old enough, were the old colored planes. They had purple planes. They had yellow planes. They had pink planes. They had brown planes. Braniff painted their planes
They had purple planes.
Yes, they did. All one color and all different colors.
So if you got on the plane, you could purple plane.
Purple plane. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And yes, Diana, Lake Chapala, very close to Guadalajara Airport. Very good. All right, guys. What do you think? Is there anything else that we should touch base on? I think we've been on here for, gosh, 3.5 hours? No.
Yeah, that would be about right.
Yeah, almost 3.5 hours. And we started late, yeah. But
yeah. I mean, considering
the mess of
the mic went.
Mike didn't like us. We should probably wrap it up. I really do hope, and I'm so sorry these are so long because, again, I'm one of those people. It's hard for me to watch a video this long personally. So the fact that you guys do, we love it. We love you. Thank you. Hope that this was somewhat enlightening. I think the bottom line is relationship-wise, yes, relationships change, and they change as you get older. Your needs change as you get older. But the bottom line is you just need a solid foundation and a support, and that is trust and honesty. Those are the keys. No matter where you are in the world, no matter where you are in your relationship, no matter what the dynamics are of your relationship, trust and honesty.
No shit, Benito. We never discussed it because that's never been an issue.
We ain't doing those quickie divorces, man.
That's something that neither one of us has ever even come close to broaching. There could be problems, but I can tell you this: ain't no way I'm going through life without this one right beside me.
Guys, gracias, fuerte abrazos. We love you too. Thank you, Diana. Thank you. And thank you. All right, you guys have a great night. We will see you again live in 2 weeks.
Yep.
On a Wednesday. My goodness, I hope we can try to get through this without it being another technical issue.
It'll be what it's going to be.
Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Adios, guys.